So I started talking that I suddenly had to cough. Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy stream. It's been over a week since I last streamed. I think it was the 7th that I last streamed. It was the 7th. It's been 11 days since I last streamed. Cause yeah, I was supposed to have streamed Friday, which is the usual thing that I would normally have streamed. But I was extremely tired that day because of a so-called showcase of the project that we had currently been working on at school, which just drained me, just mentally and physically, because we just had to stand up and walk around a lot more than I'm used to. And yeah, I just didn't feel like streaming. I had planned on streaming, but I just wasn't like there to basically be able to do it well enough. And then I had semi-planned on streaming Saturday some Acropolis with Fireball and Ryuko, but then we ended up just playing, and then I forgot to basically start the stream, and then I just kind of went like, eh. And because of that, no stream happened. I also hadn't like announced anything, so eh. Not a huge problem. Yeah. Also, I don't know if it's noticeable, but I kind of tried messing around a little bit with my audio settings yesterday, I think. So it might be better now, I'm not sure. It could also be worse, but from what I was able to listen to, it should maybe sound better. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. Due to these things, though, there's probably going to be a little bit more like background noise from like my mouse and so on, because usually you can't hear when I click my mouse, but if I stay quiet and click, you might be able to hear it. It's actually not picking it up. But mouse buttons might, or not mouse, keyboard. Yeah, that's getting picked up. That I can see over on the... I almost knocked my tea over there. I was just trying to move my mic and I almost hit my... I hit my tea and I almost knocked that over. That would have been bad. Anyway, plan for today is basically do the final quest for... Let me just turn this down a little bit. Do the final quest for the Loporrits so that I can get to rank 8 them, because I've been able to do that for like, yeah, 2 weeks essentially now. And after that, I am thinking that we will go and do the healer role quest from Endwalker. Because I got a white mage to max level the other day, accidentally. I had planned on basically doing, like, getting it to max level on stream, because Conjure was this job that I started with when I played with the Shana. So I kind of wanted to actually get that to max level on stream, but then I fucked up. This was like sometime last week, but I was basically going around doing fates because I had such a small amount of XP left that I needed. But I want to basically get to the point where I just had to do maybe like one fate, for example, to get the XP. Problem was just that I had been doing so many fates that I had already gotten this one completed, and I had completely forgotten about the whole challenge log stuff, so I basically ended up hitting this one, like the In Your Fate 2, which gives quite a bit of XP. If I could just switch over to Sage, yeah, it gets like this. I was missing like 300 or 400 XP. Got like 200,000 from the Fate, and then an additional like 7,000, which was probably more like 900,000 XP. Like, I overshot it by a decent amount. It's not exactly ideal. But yeah, that's just one less. So my mate is going to be the one that I'm doing, what do you call it? To the role quest on, because Scholar, I have no idea how to play that well. Astrologian, I'm not really great at Astrologian, and Sage isn't at a level where I can do all of the quests. So yeah, but I'm getting close to having everything at max level. I'm just missing 6 more jobs. 2 of them are relatively close. I'm basically just doing Casadara dailies on Sage, and a few roulettes on Sage. I'm basically just doing like main scenario, trial, and I think guild test. Sometimes also raid on Sage, and then everything else I'm just doing on Bard. I'm currently doing the Pixies dailies on Gunbreaker. Just because might as well get some XP on them. Anyway, let's talk to Dreamway and do Dreams Come True. We will get the ear wiggle emote. Dreamway's pockets rustle as he moves. Stop gambling with the virtual money, do it with real money. What are you talking about, gambling with the virtual money? Also, I hate that thought ball. What do you mean about gambling with the virtual money? Thought that was gambling? No, I mean, if you're referring to this area, it's just the Loporrits that have like a dance program, I guess, and a, what do you call that, a DJ, I guess? Cuts up a party. More like small rabbit people. That's the Loporrits. Yeah, let's see.
Shauna, I have a task of the utmost import for you. After our inaugural broadcast, many of the Dreaming Workshop's Loporrits were inspired to share their own histories and aspirations via the radio.
So how are you doing today, Fable?
And it seems the people of Etheres have been listening. We've received a number of letters, you see, addressed to all and sundry ways.
Tired? That's fair. To be honest, my day was actually pretty short in terms of school, because I went to school, we had 2 lessons, and where we basically learned about, essentially got just a little bit of info on about sustainable web development, and that was it. We basically had 2 lessons in that, which was like 2 sets of 45 minutes. So I arrived at school at like, or classes started at 9 or 10 past 9 ish, and I think we were able to leave at around 11 ish. So we had classes for basically 2 hours or maybe even less, and that was it. The rest of the day was just time where we could basically ask and get help from the teacher. So a decent chunk of us just went home. So I've just been home since like a little bit past 12. So yeah, I haven't done a whole lot today. And tomorrow I don't have any classes because for some reason they don't have any lessons planned for tomorrow, so yeah. And Thursday I don't have any real classes. It's all just, hey, here you can get some help with your assignment. That's it. We've just been swinging since the blood test. That's fair. Thanks last time. Welcome. It was fun. Honest, you tried that have a short day when you have a 1 hour drive either way. Yeah. Is that school needs to stop slacking? Kind of. I think it's partially due to the fact that we don't necessarily have a ton of teachers. So I think sometimes they can't necessarily, like, we might just not have enough teachers at the school for like all of the classes or something like that. I don't fully know. Or I think it's sometimes also just that there's only certain things we need to be taught or have lessons for like one project. And because of that, and I guess just scheduling stuff, we sometimes just have like a day where we don't have any classes. Do I want to be a teacher? I would have to say both yes and no. Like, the whole idea of actually teaching, I wouldn't mind. But then there's the fact that in order to become a teacher, you oftentimes need to do a ton of like extra education stuff. Like, because my mother was basically got an education as a teacher. That was like several years for her to do that, and then I just know that at least some teaching positions, you have so much like work that you kind of need to do outside of like work hours, essentially, and need to do prep stuff for like your lessons and so on. It's like, oh my god, there's so much. Like, teachers, I feel like teachers don't get paid enough for the amount of work they need to do. It's like there's so much stuff they need to prep, like lessons, depending on the like what they're teaching, of course, but there's just a lot. As the new laws, you can't take the work and prepare at home anymore. Oh, so you need to do it at work then, I guess. Oh, actually, now that you mention it, I do remembering something about that. I just didn't know that it was a law that had been passed. You don't have enough time at school to do it, yeah. Because then there's the whole thing of like, oh yeah, you need to basically prep for the, like, ahead of time with what you need to be teaching, like, your students. Like, let's say you're an English teacher, you need to have stuff prepped for ahead of time that's within the curriculum, and then you might also have like, oh, I don't know, 26 assignments that you need to read and grade. Like, that takes time if you have to suddenly read fucking 26 5-page essays on some random book they needed to read. Like, no thank you. Like that just seems like hell. They don't get enough in pay. Yeah, like, teachers basically need more pay due to the fact that they do so much work, and they just don't get paid enough for it. And they just don't have enough time to do a lot of the stuff. Like, as you're saying, they don't have the time to do all the things they need to do at school or at work, essentially. Like, if I had to be a teacher, I feel like it would. I know for a fact that I don't want to be it for like extremely young kids, but I also don't really want to do it for like the very high grades, because I don't want to deal with like I just don't want to deal with like small kids, because I just don't want to deal with that. Plus, I don't think there's anything I would want to teach that's like within the stuff that they could be taught. And I don't want to deal with the later stuff because it's like, I don't really want to deal with like highly advanced things. I'm kind of thinking like, from like, in terms of the Danish school system, maybe like 4th grade at the lowest. Maybe it's up to like 9th, maybe. I have actually been looking to see if there maybe were some jobs as like a coding teacher in like, as in like, I'm forgetting what that's called now, but like the optional classes. I don't really know what to call them. Benefit essentially. Where maybe some schools near where I live had like, hey, you could be a teacher for that, but I haven't been able to find anything because I guess they don't teach any sort of like web development, coding anywhere or in those like in those grades. It would have to be like at I keep forgetting what it's called, like what that level actually is called in English, but in Danish the gymnasium level of education, that's usually where you start getting that in school from what I've seen. You got a mail if you want substitution at a preschool. You're like, have no education for this, the evening schools and like sessions. Yeah. Yeah, I have basically thought about like maybe teaching, but it would have to be like something simple that hopefully wouldn't require too much prep work. But then there's also just the like, yeah, as I said earlier, you need a lot of education in order to actually be able to be like qualified as a teacher. And it's just kind of like, don't think is really my cup of tea. Plus, from what I've seen, like from what I saw that my mother went through with her being a teacher, it seems like a bit of a pain in the ass being a teacher because she just straight up went down with stress at one point and had to quit her job because like she couldn't handle it. Which I think might also have been because of the fact that the administration at her school just didn't really fully handle things the best, which partially is due to the fact that in some of the classes that she had to teach, they literally had, and this was like a small countryside school she was teaching at, with like not a ton of students really. Well, technically it was like around like probably the average amount, like 20-ish kids. But some of the classes basically had several people or had several students that quite honestly should not have been in like a quote unquote normal school setting. Because they, like, I believe there was one student in one of her classes that, I don't really know how to say this in the nicest way, but they were literally in a wheelchair and unable to communicate at all. Like, they could not communicate verbally in any way, shape, or form, and they could basically do nothing. I don't know why they were in a class with like a bunch of other students and why they weren't at like a special needs school, because it was like they can't really take care of that kind of student in that type of class. Like that was the sort of stuff that my mom had to deal with. Like that was the kind of stuff like she was not prepared for that. She didn't have an education as like a special needs teacher. Kind of hard to deal with that sort of stuff. Like the kid literally had like a parent always there to try and essentially help them, if you want to call it that. But essentially the parent just did all the schoolwork for the kid because, as I said, they could do nothing. Which yeah, not exactly ideal. I could make tutorial videos about coding. I could, but I don't know how good I would be able to make coding stuff, because I feel like my coding skills, like I technically know how to code, but I don't know if I would be able to teach it necessarily. Like, I feel like if I were to try and make coding tutorials, it would have to be like pretty simple stuff, and even then I don't know if I would be able to structure it well, video format. Teaching it to someone like where I'm physically there, I could probably do that, but otherwise, no, not. So as when the government don't want to help out. Yeah, I think also it was partially due to the fact that the parents of that kid wanted them to be in like a normal school, which is like, why? Yeah. Well, only one way to get improvement on that, true. But yeah. I think for now I'm not really gonna pursue any sort of like teaching stuff, to be completely honest, because yeah, and tutorial videos probably not anytime soon. I have been thinking though of maybe doing some guide videos, if you even want to call them that, for some games like Dark Souls, like beginner guides, where I basically try and explain all of the stuff that the game does not explain to you in a good way. All the problem is just that I have not even started doing any sort of like scripting or anything. It's just been an idea I've had for like 2 months or more, where it's been like, I could do that, and then I never get around to doing it. And then I'll probably at one, like someday, just suddenly be like, oh yeah, I'll do this. I'll just sit down and like start writing a script, and then probably never finish it, kind of like I did with some ideas I had about making some, hey, here's how to get all the achievements in like Dark Souls 1, where I had started writing out like a script of sorts, and then I just abandoned it. That was like 2-3 years ago or something like that. Sort of the same thing, more like how to cheese. Well, RL is always getting in the way. There's that, and then there's also the fact that I just don't get around to doing it. Really, it's like I could easily sit down and just start writing, like get started on a script of some sort, but it's just I have trouble basically getting started on it, because it's like I could easily sit down and just have done it like today, have like written a decent amount of stuff, but then I just went like I didn't even think about it. I just got home, and just put away my groceries that I bought on the way home, and then just sat down and started playing Final Fantasy. I didn't even think about like, oh, I should maybe start writing that script I've been thinking of. Just, oh, Final Fantasy, because I forgot about the other stuff. I'm a snowball? What? What do you mean snowball?
I haven't been able to stop smiling since I read mine. I am painfully delighted.
Also, I should probably get further with this quest, because I've just been talking for like, I think almost 20 minutes now without progressing the story or the quest.
Yet I would doubtless be more so had my letter been delivered by a person of Etheres in the flesh. What do you say?
Snowball. That type of snowball is what you're referring to. It's a term you just have ball on a hill, but if you start on a project, you will get the momentum to it. Yeah, it's kind of that. My problem is just actually getting started on a project is the hard part, because I usually just end up either forgetting about it or pushing it, like essentially kicking the can down the road. But yeah, usually when I actually get started on something, I usually like hyper focus on it. But I don't always finish it. Kind of like how I have done with the model that I've been working on. I haven't worked on it in like, what was it I wrote? Like, I think I wrote it on Twitter the other day, like a week ago or something like that. Which also, that post got me a few bots that showed up. Yeah, I think it was like, yeah, around 5-6-ish months since I've worked last time on my model. So yeah, it's been a while since I did anything with that. But usually whenever I then sit down, I just end up doing like a ton of work on it.
Those letters are for coining way, inventing way, cooking way, and ta, er, the Loporrit of many names. Some of them counseling way and others the voice behind the microphone, way. Ahem. In any case, I cannot wait to hear how they all react.
Like you said, Fump, it's okay to do things alone, but other times it's good to work in groups, because then you feel there's a deadline. Yeah. Like, I kind of like working with deadlines, to be honest, but the problem is just I can't really set deadlines for myself, because then I don't follow them. Which is the main problem. I just don't, like, I can tell myself like, oh, I need to have this thing done by this time. I don't follow it. Like, I almost never do, because then I just end up being like, yeah, like I need some like outside force basically giving me a deadline of some sort, where it's like, okay, I need to have this thing done by this day, otherwise it's too late. Like, let's say a job application has something like, oh, the deadline for applying is this day, then I know that, okay, I need to have this, I need to basically have written an application to this place by this day, I have an assignment for this day, things like that. But yeah, I can't set deadlines for myself, because those never last.
Not here to spend your carrots today? A pity. I do work so tirelessly to price our merchandise fairly.
Alright, so let's see, from a theorist with love. Okay.
What is this? A letter from a Charleyan economist? Oh, heavens. It's happening. It's finally happening. Having heard the fascinating tale of your success in establishing a new currency and independent market, my colleagues and I would like to formally invite you to submit to our rousing quarterly report. Such a heartwarming letter I have never received. I must pen a reply post-haste, not to mention my submission. I owe you thanks, Shauna. Without your earnest cooperation, the carrot's time to shine may never have come. Trust me when I say that my gratitude is beyond measure.
Okay. Go to inventing way. There you are.
Hail, Shauna. Have you seen a loose screw anywhere? No matter, I can carry on regardless. Doubt not that this next machine will astonish even your adventurer's eyes. A letter from Atheres. Curious. I wasn't aware that the post-Muggle teleporters had passed safety inspection. Let me see. Bugger me, these letters are tiny. Why, the writer is Garlean. Restoration, recovered scrap, Minimal explosions. I see. With this information, I can surely design a machine or two to assist in Garlemald's reconstruction. How fortunate that they heard my broadcast. It is only a matter of time before my inventions are beloved far and wide. First Garlemald, then Etheres, then the universe.
Okay, lots of cooking away.
Can I interest you in a turn at the whisk? We've been overwhelmed with orders of late. What you see behind me is the last way standing. Nevertheless, I am glad that everyone appreciates our Etheres-inspired cuisine. I must confess, I worry that my inclinations still tend too heavily toward carrots. Yet I can hardly ask this lot for other ideas. Fresh inspiration, you say? I certainly hope so. A letter from Master Dickon himself. What a happy surprise. And he's included a recipe of his own devising. This is precisely what I need to break free from my carrot-based confines. Let me know if this inspires any new dishes up there, he says. I certainly will. And I hope that you will sample whatever we cook up next.
Okay. And a letter to the Ashen Fertile Loporrit.
Ah, well met. Can I help you with anything this morning? For me? From persons of Etheres. Oh, I hope I didn't say something to offend them. The first is from a Garlean refugee. I miss my homeland dearly, but your voice reminded me that even here, I'm not alone. Thank you for lifting my spirits. And this one appears to have been written by a child's paw. Dear Radio Loppet, how did you learn to talk like people? You are very good. I want to be a radio when I grow up too. Love, me. They really are listening. I once believed I would never again look forward to tomorrow. But Dreamingway's hope is infectious, isn't it? I owe him, and you, more than I can say. I'd like to share something with you, if you don't mind. I've been pondering a new name for myself. My dream may have not changed all that much, but I am a different way than I once was. I was alone for quite some time, you understand, long enough to make me appreciate the value of a kind word. Now that I have returned to the Fluffle, I find myself wanting to speak with your people and my fellow Loporrits as much as I can. So, after some discussion.
Okay, I think they might have decided on the name Talking Way, I would think.
I have chosen to become Talking Way.
Okay, I had a feeling because they're now talking to the people of theirs through the radio, and Dreamway did almost say, or start saying like TA, is it, while referring to Talking Way, but we didn't know the name yet, so I had a feeling that maybe it was Talking Way, and I was correct, because it just fit the naming style of them.
I shall be a friendly voice to the people of Etheres, and to those closer to home. By which I mean, well, I hope you will consider me a friend, too.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Say no more Talking Way, or do, yes. Wouldn't have it any other way, let's go with that one.
Thank you, Shauna, for your kindness, and for listening. With this delivery to your new friend Talking Way, all of the letters have been safely seen into the right paws. Dreaming Way will surely be delighted to know of the joy with which they were received.
Okay, yep, that's the end of the quest.
Shauna. Were they excited? Delighted?
It looks like it's like an animated cutscene.
That's even better than I dreamed. The people of Atheres have been ever so kind.
That's mainly because of the fact that the camera angles seem more special and they seem slightly more animated, the characters.
Including those who have yet to listen to our broadcast. According to one of the letters Managing Way received, word of our station has spread far and wide, and many of your fellows are keen to get their paws on radios of their own, to little success, I'm afraid. But we're here to help. Inventing Way has gathered his disciples, and they are producing radios as we speak. We shall see them delivered to Atheres with all speed. Can you imagine? The whole star, listening to us? To be honest, I was uncertain we would ever make it this far. To find new dreams for each and every Loporrit seemed a monumental task. Yet look at them now. They've come so far, and who knows what they'll dream up next. Of course, as for me, I'm eager to start composing again. Get ready to hop along to my next hit.
Oh, that's happening.
None of our dreams would have been possible without you, Shauna. On behalf of all of us, thank you ever so much. And remember, should you want for a friendly ear or a well-eared friend, we are always here for you.
They just want to say thanks. Oh my god, and then there's the DJ Loporrit.
You have achieved Bloodsworn reputation with the Dreaming Ways. You will receive an experience point bonus upon the You have learned the
There you go, okay. I get an experience point bonus. I don't get anything from that though, because I already have maxed level on the crafters. So we got Wiggle, which for some reason doesn't work well on Piera, apparently. Because apparently it just spawns like those ears for them and that's it. Instead of using their actual like rapid ears that they already have. Okay, and I think there should maybe be no item here, or oh, there is actually stuff. Okay, we have Dreamwalker Orchestra and Roll. Framing Away Kit. Let's get that. Is it Deltarune? Not quite. I believe it's the song that's playing right now that I now can get as in Orchestra and Roll. And then I can see that I can get Loporrit permits for my house. I'm trying to think. I have a. Let's see, I have a material supply, I have a jungle bunker, I have an inventor. I think I have all of the different ones. already in my house. I could maybe get one of them. I just don't know how they actually look, but they are basically like the merchants that you can place inside your house. Only here it would be a Loporrit. I kind of want that, but yeah, that's gonna be something that I deal with off stream because I need to basically figure out how they look as well. Okay, let's see here. I also just got that thing, so now I should have just open up this. Okay, so now I have this background that I can pick doing ways. Is this one that has something like that? Nope. A pattern overlay backing, perhaps. Maybe it's paint? Or no, no, look at it, it actually isn't. Top board, that has one, yep. Dreaming Ways, doesn't look that bad. Bottom border, is that one? Portrait frame, that doesn't have any of those. Plate frame, that doesn't have anything. Accent, that's just all those things. So it's not a whole lot that was added there. But I do see... Where are you? There you are. Gaming Way. We can now get some...
You're familiar with Triple Triad.
I don't need to... It's not that. I can get a card from you. You know what? Sure, let's try a match. Let's see if I can maybe get the card on the first try. Let's see. Yeah, nice, and I got Dreamway on the first try. Where's that other one from though? Because I definitely saw that they had multiple triple triad cards with Loporrits on. Or at least two of them. Let's see, that's Dreamways, that was the yellow shirt one. Here's the other one from, apparently I already have it. Let's see here. So do I have the online card list that I have updated? Yep, that's updated correctly. Ah, I already have that one there, and that is an old stallion from Cheating Way, apparently. I guess Alright. I need to go to Razat Han in order to get started on the what are those called again? The Rome quests. Oh yeah, I just remembered something that I actually also want to quickly go through. We basically yesterday got the announcement for the next Moogle. I'm blanking on what's called now. The next Moogle treasure trove thing. So I think we can look over that, because I have looked at it, but I kind of just want to look at it on stream as well. So let me just quickly have it. Let's see. There we go. And then I need to pull this one. Go. Also, I might as well just quickly switch over to White Mage. Alright. Let me just also adjust this, because this is scale correctly. I think it's because it's currently scaled to like YouTube videos. Let's just take this, make it smaller, then I can extend this. And let's actually just extend it down to here. There we go. Alright. So, starting on Monday, we have the Moogle Treasure Trove, the hunt for Mendazi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Which, yeah, it's just gonna last until patch 6.4, which, based on that information, the fact that it's starting on the 24th, we basically know that it's gonna be a month or 4-ish weeks until the release of 6.4. So we pretty much, like most of the community, is basically just guessing that May 23rd is gonna be when patch 6.4 is gonna be released, because that's 4 hours from, or that's 4 weeks after, or a month-ish after the Moogle Treasure Trove releases, and also a Tuesday, which is when patches always come out. So it's the usual things: collect the regular tombstones and get rare items, the usual loot thing, all of that. So we basically have the Tower of Paradigm's Breach and Praetorium giving the most tombstones. They are also some of the longest bits of content you could do, so they are not exactly ideal for farming. But if you want to just like turn off your brain and just farm them semi-easy, Praetorium is probably the easiest one. It's basically 7. You get 7 of them in like 30 to 40 minutes. So yeah, it's not the fastest way and most efficient, but it's a fine way, I guess, of getting them. There's also the Puppet's Bunker, which gives you 6. It's kind of the same as with Tower of Paradise Breach. It's just as far into the Dead Raid series, and the same with the Copied Factory. That's only 5. All PvP gives either 5 or 3. 5 if you win, 3 if you lose, or it just gets second place. So that's an option. Hopefully Hidden Gorge is gonna get some activity, because I'm thinking of basically just spamming the ever-loving shit out of Hidden Gorge to basically get Moogle Tombstones, and also get series XP, so I can level that thing up, so I can get those rewards, because I'm still only at like just under level 7 in the PvP series, and I have until the release of 6.4 to get that to level 25. So I'm gonna need a lot of PvP matches, and I believe using an online calculator, it was calculated to be around 90-ish losses that I need to have. and I think that basically added up to being around like just 2 matches a day, essentially, where I lose. So yeah, losses. Yeah, because I'm not good at PvP. You also have to consider the fact that the PvP that I've usually done is these 4 that are right here. That's in a format that's called Frontlines. That's 3 teams that are fighting at once. So you have a 1 in 3 chance of basically being the losing team to an extent. And let's just say that some teams you end up on are not exactly great, because some people have no idea how to play the PvP correctly, and I don't know how to play it correctly either. So yeah, it's not exactly ideal. So yeah, sometimes it just ends up being a lot of people just running around trying to fight other players and just getting killed and not doing the objectives. And sometimes you might be doing what you're supposed to do, but one team is just like absolutely steamrolling you for no reason. So yeah, I don't try hard to PvP too much, because it's like you get rewards from winning or losing. So I thought you weren't born winners since you were the fastest. You were the fastest spawn in the sack. I mean, that it might be true that I was the fastest spawn in the sack. True, but that's technically the case for everyone who was born, unless they were not conceived through normal means, I guess. But that's besides the point. But yeah, I'm not a winner when it comes to PvP. Like any sort of PvP, I have always been like, I'm not good at it. Like I have never been great at PvP. Like, especially in MMOs, I've always kind of just been like never good at it. Like in World of Warcraft, I absolutely hated PvP. I did not like it. Final Fantasy, depending on what type of PvP, I hate it, because the fastest way to technically level up your so-called series level is to basically just spam something called Crystalline Conflict, which is basically just I'm forgetting what it's called now, that type of objective. The what is that called? You basically just push a cart, essentially. In this case it's a crystal, and try and push it to the opposite team's like goal, essentially. I'm forgetting exactly what that game mode is usually called, but it's basically that, but it's 5v5, and I don't really like that thing, because sometimes you get absolutely steamrolled, or you absolutely steamroll the opponents. I don't mind those matches, actually, because I kind of like those, because they just make it go fast. But sometimes you basically have an extremely annoying tug of war where it's like the match goes on for so goddamn long. Essentially, the matches are supposed to be around like 5 minutes or so. If you have a match where one team just absolutely steamrolls, like the crystal doesn't stop moving, it just keeps moving, except for the times where it can't move because it needs to like capture a point or something like that, it can be like a 2-minute match ish, which I like those, because then it means that I can go into a new match and maybe get absolutely stomped or stomp the other team. The problem is just when you get a match that is 12 minutes long, which I've had a 12-minute long goddamn match in Crystalline Conflict. It was infuriating. I think I even took a picture of it, because I was like, how the hell did this match go on for 12 fucking minutes? Like, it was legit just like, how? Is this the picture? Yeah, it went on for 12 minutes and 19 seconds. And the thing that ended up being like how the match basically ended was that what do you call it? Like it ended up being a 50-50 split in terms of like points, but our team got like, I think our team at least got like just enough of like a push that we got to basically got our crystal pushed 50.1% of the way to their goal, where they only got it 50%. And let's see, we had like on our team we had 34 deaths. The opponents had 44 deaths. It was insane. The amount, like that match was insane, and it was just kind of like, how the fuck did it go on for that long? That is the longest match of Crystalline Conflict I've ever had, and it was like so annoying. But yeah, let's just say I'm not a big fan of PvP in this, but when it comes to like the front lines, they do take like 15-20 minutes to do, but it's way simpler and you don't need to like think about stuff. It's kind of just like go for the objectives. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. That's kind of just my like mindset when it comes to it. Let's see here. We also have some dungeons that give 4 tombstones. We have Hullbreaker Isle, Tantera Deepcroft Heart, and Castrum Meridianum. I think people have been speculating on what might be the fastest way to basically get tombstones, because usually every single one of these Moogle Treasure Trove hunts, there's been like one specific dungeon or raid that people just figure out like, okay, this is the optimal way of basically farming these tombstones. Stop being well at PvP. That's easier said than done, but I at least have a class I can somewhat figure out. But then again, I get like when there's like 3 teams of 24 people running around, my brain can't keep up with that, so I sometimes just get like hit from somewhere that I didn't see, and then I just die in the game. So, but yeah, people usually figure out a way to basically farm these tombstones in a very efficient way, and that usually involves Blue Mage, because that class can be quite powerful when set up correctly at some concept. I'm pretty sure that currently people are trying to figure out what dungeon would be the fastest to basically just spam with Blue Mage. And I think some people have basically been like considering Hullbreaker Isle possibly, but there's some stuff there that might make it a bit too slow. Tantera Deepcroft Heart could potentially work. There's also like a section where you need to do a lot of just stopping, interacting with something, kill some enemies, go to another room, do that 3 times before you can move on. So that's not exactly ideal. Then we also have some dungeons that are 1 trial and 3 dungeons that give 3 tombstones. Here, I believe that people are basically thinking that Carter's Cry might be the optimal one, which I think it might also be because it's a low dungeon, and it has an entire section that you can essentially just skip all the ads, so you basically just sprint through them, and yeah, just essentially go and kill the next boss. I feel like Sunken Temple of Karn might also be a possible contender, but that also kind of depends, because it does have 3 sections where you need to basically place an enemy on a specific like platform and kill it there in order to move on, so that could potentially also make it slower, but I don't know yet. This one's definitely not fast, and this one could potentially work, but there's also some annoying things where you need to stand in spots. And you could do a really long pull at the start, but that's a really, really big pull of ads, so that's probably be a bit risky. There's technically 2 really large pulls you could do with ads. It could work, but they would just be a bit too risky, I feel like. I have also heard that people are thinking that doing maybe some specific Alexander raids could be a possible good one, because it gives 2 tombstones. It kind of depends on which one it would be, because it would have to be one that's fast to do, and some of these are not fast. Like Soul of the Creator, that's definitely not one of them, but some of these could potentially be fast. I don't think Cinderdrift, Cloud Deck, or Castrum Marinum would be contenders either, but there's probably going to be a Reddit post here in like maybe at the end of the week or something like that, or at the start of next week, with basically just information on that, so maybe I'll do some of that grinding. But for now, my main idea of grinding this is just going to be through PvP, because it'll give me Series XP as well. That 10,000 points. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, so there's also the usual like vendor that you can buy things with these things. Oh my god. Yeah, I actually already have a decent chunk of these things that I can buy, because some of these things are not worth buying and some of them I already have. I think in terms of the things that I want to get during the event is I want the Porksy earrings. Gonna save it and use it when least expected. Oh. But yeah, I'm thinking of basically getting the Porksy earrings because that's an exclusive item from the event, so I want to get that. Magic Predator Identification Key, I already have that mount, so I don't need to get it. It's from Alamico. Last boss drops that. There's the X-Gen Horn, I already have that mount as well. There's the Megalotragus. I don't have this horn yet, or have this mount yet, but I can get it relatively easy from the Firmament, where I just need to get, I think it's like 4,000 or it's 8,400 Sky Builder scripts, which I'll get at some point. So might get this one depending on how many tombstones I get in total, but I'm not gonna go for it for now at least. Then there's a Long Fall, which I bought the other day. I think it was yesterday actually I bought it, because I found out that it's now available from different places. Basically, the saw is normally, or was at least at one point, only available from the Twinning Dungeon in Shadowbringers. And this is a really good saw in my opinion. But it was only dropped from the last boss there, so it cost like a shit ton of gil, because you basically needed for it to drop. It was a long dungeon to basically do on your own, and because of the fact that it was kind of a rare drop, not a lot of people sold it. And whenever it actually sold, it sold for like, was either like a few 100,000s or millions of gil, so it was expensive. But now it's apparently also available from the I'm forgetting what those things are referred to now, but the bags, essentially, accursed hordes, essentially, from Eureka Orthos. They can apparently drop them, so I was able to buy one for, I think it was like 30,000 or something like that, like relatively cheap. yesterday, basically, so I don't need that. This hairstyle I'm definitely getting, because you can only get that from Head on High, from those Accursed Hordes bags. And if you want to buy it, it's like hundreds, if not millions of gil. So, gonna go for that. It's 50,000. There's this one, which is the Insist emote. I don't actually remember. Do I have that emote? Oh, I already have that. So, yeah, this one I don't remember. When do you even get that? Yeah, that's Skyville the scripts. I already have this one, so I don't need it. There's the spatial maps. I already have some of those, and I haven't used them. If I have, like, enough, maybe I'll buy some of them after I've got some of the other things. There's this earring. Already have that. It's drawn from a feint. There's like 2 Era Reborn. Tribal Quest mounts. Horses from a Realm Reborn. Just a bunch of like a Realm Reborn, Heaven's Ward, and Stormblood mounts. MGP, Platinum card gives 50,000 MGP. Might buy some of those if I have enough. Of those tombstones. There's some housing items. They're not worth buying. You can just craft them. There's these armor pieces, these chest pieces. I would not buy those. I can just farm them from the dungeon. Already have all of these, and they're not worth spending 10 of those tombstones on. You can just do buy them with allied seals. That's way cheaper. Already have all of these Triple Triad cards, no reason to buy them. I believe that the Wind Up Succubus and Black Hayata I could potentially get from here, or maybe buy Black Hayata on the market board. I'm not really sure yet. These two, I believe, are from Tribal Quests stuff. Yep, this is from the Sylphs, and that's from the Bath. So I can just get those if I want to on my own. So I think there's only like 150 that I need to get of those tombstones, and then I basically have everything that I at least want. If I can get more easily, then I'll just get that, but for now it's just 150 that I'm aiming for, at least. Anyway, let's get started on the healer role quest, I guess. Let's talk with the Alamegan delegate. The Alamegan delegate to Razadhan has grim news to convey.
If you are ready to lend us your aid, I'll apprise you of the situation. We've received reports of a creature believed to be a blasphemy stalking the streets of Alamigo. Troops have been assigned to track and slay the beast, but there are likely to be casualties. With most of our healers posted elsewhere, we had thought to petition you for aid.
Sounds like you need better soldiers, not more healers, but if I must, I would be glad to help.
Once again, we're in your debt. We shall inform Commander Alden forthwith.
My comrades in the Immortal Flames will be glad to have you watching over them. You see, as there have been no sightings of any blasphemies in our lands, we have joined our Alamigan allies in their hunt for the fiend.
Okay, so Ulta doesn't have any blasphemies, so they're helping Alamigo then.
Trouble is, the majority of our own healers are working day and night to treat the tempered Imperials captured at Picklefin. For that reason, we too will be glad of your help. Your presence alone will be of great comfort to the troops. I'm sure.
As time is of the essence, I ask that you make your way to the Alamigan quarter and report for duty. Commander Alden is overseeing the hunt, and he will explain all upon your arrival. May Ralgr grant you strength.
Okay, let me also just quickly hide that quest because I don't need that one right now. Okay, also the Alamican quarters. Okay, so go and speak with Raban, I guess. Or Blasphemy Hunter, I guess, first.
Mistress Majula. We were told you were on your way, but this is even quicker than expected. I'll tell Commander Alden you've arrived. One moment, please.
I'm gonna assume that we are also gonna deal with, or work with Lise.
Glad you could join us.
Raban. God, the game is dark right now. Usually it being nighttime, so you can barely see Raban. You can barely see any of his, like, features.
Now that the far greater crisis has been resolved, we may, and must, turn our undivided attention to matters of a smaller but no less deadly scale. I'd like nothing more than to hear about your recent adventures, but I'm afraid such pleasantries will have to wait. As our man in Thavnair will have told you, a blasphemy is loose in Alamigo. When it first appeared, the city guard were able to get most of the bystanders to safety, and for a mercy, those caught in the chaos only suffered minor injuries. But the fiend managed to escape and has not been seen since. We must find it, and soon, for as long as it remains at large, every man, woman, and child is at risk. As was the case in Thavnair, the blasphemy's very existence seems to spur the creation of lesser beasts. The longer it is allowed to roam free, the more tragedy our people will suffer.
Here's an it's blasphemy. Did anyone see the change take place? Let's go with that.
There were several eyewitnesses who gave the same account. A man walking through the Alamigan quarter fell to his knees all of a sudden, and a moment later transformed into the monstrosity we now pursue. But beyond the fact he was a young Highlander, we know next to nothing about him. Even the descriptions of his appearance are too vague to help identify the lad, and we've no clues as to his name or background. For all we know, he might not have even been born in Alamigo, might have been the son of refugees come to visit. There are other possibilities we're investigating, though. That said, I doubt his circumstances are unique. Blasphemies and beasts are born when men are overcome by despair, and whatever drove him to turn likely could have done the same to another. Therefore, if we are to prevent future tragedies, it is imperative that we identify and address the underlying cause. Until we do, we'll have no choice but to deal with the afflicted the only way we know how, by granting them a quick death. For now, I would have you join the hunt and keep my men from falling prey to these creatures. Are you up to it? You have my thanks. And as chance would have it, we've just received word that a number of beasts were spotted on the outskirts of Alaganha. The troops stationed there have already put them down, but were wounded in the process. First and foremost, they need medical attention, and that's where you come in. I'll meet you there.
Okay. So Alaganha then.
Although the soldiers were able to lead the beasts away from the village and cull the lot of them, victory did not come easily. It's times like these that our lack of healers is most sorely felt. I dare say they've yet to receive any treatment at all. See to their wounds while I survey the area for any stragglers that may have escaped. Once I've completed my patrol, I'll head to the village to gather eyewitness reports. Look for me thereafter.
Okay.
gods be good. I feel reborn. Hold on. You're Shauna, aren't you? I can't believe it. You're the one who inspired me to join the resistance in the first place, and now you've come to save me in my hour of need. I'll never forget this. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, more healing.
I saw them change. Right before my eyes. Those weren't monsters I killed, but innocent men. But it had to be done. There were others we had to protect. And thanks to you, I can continue to do just that. Once I've made my way back, I'll give a full account. The families, they'll understand.
And back goes to Raban. Oh, Ernwald.
It was good of you to come all this way, though I never doubted for a moment that you wouldn't.
Okay.
After all you've done for the people of Girabanya, we couldn't ask for more. And yet, here you are. For treating the wounds of those soldiers, you have my thanks, and theirs too, no doubt. It seems they were indeed successful in slaying all the beasts, if my search is any indication, but we must remain vigilant. I've also spoken with several people who witnessed the moment of the transformation, though the ordeal has understandably left them rather shaken. I hear you've been through a fair few ordeals yourself, Shauna. As for me, I've been kept busy with this and that, like getting the hang of this wheelchair. Obviously, it has its limitations, but it gets me where I need to go. I've been working with this new organization as well, which is what brought me here. But no sooner had I arrived than those locals turned. Ragenfrid, I heard you were there when it happened. What can you tell us? The ones who underwent the change, are the very people we were trying to help. Perhaps I should explain from the beginning. The meeting Lise held in the royal palace marked a turning point for all of Girabanya. It spurred us to open a dialogue with peoples and communities we otherwise would have shunned. But there are still so many problems to be addressed, and countless souls struggling to build new lives for themselves. I decided to form a volunteer group, the Silver Griffins. Our main concern is the welfare of Alomigans who sided with the Empire, for whatever reason, and helping them find their place in society. In particular, the surviving families of the Cranialupi.
The skulls. Those guys. But I thought you'd spice the skulls. You changed it soon. And again, it doesn't want to say that line. Make no mistake, I've not forgiven them. I don't have that in me, and I doubt I ever will. But the memory of that day in the palace for Dola asking me locked up again after saving us all stayed with me.
Got me to thinking about why she and the other youths would commit such atrocities. Why they'd swear to serve the Empire. And the answer was simple, because they'd seen what we'd seen and suffered much the same. In a hell where all were condemned, they chose to betray one brother to save another. That's how the Garleans win, not by breaking you, but by making you break yourself. By making that choice the right one for a man at the end of his tether. Healing only begins with liberation, and some scars never will regardless. Those who've returned from foreign lands may have difficulty carving out a living here, but the ones who'd pledged allegiance to Garlemald. This is not the Alomigo we dreamed of. But after 20 years of misery, I'll not see it all thrown away because we can't come to terms with the past. That's why I formed the Silver Griffins. To see that no one is cast aside. It's a cause I support, and it's what brought me here today. I've been acting as a mediator. And in the short time he's been with us, he's proven himself a natural. But despite our early successes, the families of the skulls continue to refuse our help. I think I see where this is leading. They're the ones who turned, yes. It comes as no surprise. Their kin tormented and murdered fellow Olymegans. Anyone with a conscience would feel shame and guilt, and for some, it might be too much to bear. I think I might know why they're turning us away. It's a sensitive matter, though, so let's go somewhere we won't be overheard. It's about one of the men who turned. I saw his memories. With the echo. I'll not pretend I understand it, but tell us what you learned.
Oh, we couldn't see the echo?
I only caught a glimpse, but that was enough.
Kinda looks like this might be a slightly more animated cutscene.
It was during the occupation. A man raising his son. Only the two of them, but they were a family. To keep his boy clothed and fed, he chose to side with the Empire. He knew what others would say, but he did it anyway. And so he was branded a traitor. Every day, his son listened to the jeering, the insults, but there was nothing he could do. When he came of age, he joined the Skulls in the hope it would make life easier for his father. He never dared to question his orders, no matter how depraved. He died in the revolution, but not before killing his own countrymen. His father wept not for the betrayer and murderer, but for the man he could have been. He blamed it all on himself, right up until the change took him. I can only pray he and his boy have finally found the peace they were denied in life. Alas, theirs is an all too familiar tale. They cannot forgive themselves, nor can they see how anyone else could. The sins of their kin weigh heavy on them. They think themselves undeserving of our compassion. If they carry on like that, they'll turn into beasts. We've got to help them before it's too late. Growing up half Garlean in Alamigo, I know how it feels to be shunned and hated. To hate myself. But so long as we give ourselves and others a chance, we can change for the better. And while I might not be as clever or eloquent as someone like Alphino, I know I can make a difference. I might not be quite the swordsman I used to be, but I'm still a fighter at heart. And I owe it to Ayaba and Ollie to make the most of this life so long as I've got it. We Silver Griffins will give our all to see that no more beasts or blasphemies ravage Girabanya again. So, Commander Alden, do we have your approval to continue our work? Of course. There's no enemy more formidable than despair, and I'd be a fool to refuse your help. That even a single one of our people has succumbed to this transformation is proof of our failure to protect them. Therefore, I pledge the Silver Griffins my unconditional support. Together, we will prevail. Now that we have Shauna on hand to aid the troops, I believe we are ready to face any beasts we encounter. Though I fear it is only a matter of time before others appear, I ask that you lend the Silver Griffins your assistance in the meantime. Very good. For now, let's return to the city.
So... head back to the other meeting quarters. Don't understand why they don't just go like, oh yeah, let's just get the quest here. Like, it could be Field or something like that that I would just have to talk to. Hold on. Just that's cough there. Okay.
Those who harbor guilt do so not because they are weak of heart, but because they have failed to meet the demands they make of themselves. 'Twas the same for me when I believed that my failures had led to the Sultana's assassination. The despair and self-loathing were indescribable. I was fortunate that you and the other scions came to my rescue. That I had friends who convinced me I was more than the sum of my worst mistakes. Now we must do the same for the people of Alamigo. We must help them to heal and find the strength to, if not forgive, then come to terms with who we were, so that we can look to who we can be. Who we should aspire to be. This is precisely why the work of the Silver Griffins is so vital. Though our problems are not new, the emergence of this deadly phenomenon means we cannot afford to delay addressing them any longer. And we will be better for it, ultimately. Once we've decided a course of action, you'll be the first to know. Until then, may Ralgr watch over and keep you.
Alright, can we see? Because I can see that the SE's buffs have run out. I don't want to show the message. Go. I just don't want to accidentally show the Discord link when I open up the FC window, essentially. Okay, the Butcher's Blade. The struggles to prevent the emergence of beasts grow increasingly desperate.
We were hoping you'd stop by. I'll show you to Commander Alden at once.
You're a welcome sight as always, Shauna. And a lot's happened since last we spoke. We Silver Griffins VE been keeping busy. As have I and my men, but I'm afraid we've little to show for our efforts. Although we've been searching high and low for the blasphemy, we've seen neither hide nor hair of it. Unfortunately, everyone else has had better luck. We've received reports of lesser beasts throughout Girabanya, and putting them down is as important as hunting the blasphemy that got away. To complicate matters, rumors have been circulating that these beasts were the Skull's kin. While this was true of the recent incident in Alaganha, we cannot have people jumping to conclusions, given what they might feel tempted to do. It has been suggested that we take these individuals into custody, for their own protection as much as the safety of others, but that would only isolate them even further and give credence to the rumors. The recent unrest has hindered the efforts of the Silver Griffins to no end. Therefore, I ask that you aid them in their endeavors, and see if there is aught that can be done. Also, you'll be joined by another volunteer. Try not to be too surprised.
Is it for Dola?
I thought I felt my ears burning.
It is.
I said I don't need a keeper, but did they bloody listen? Did they bollocks?
I had a feeling she was going to be involved due to the fact that she was, like, of course, Arnwald. They were kind of involved with each other during the situation where Arnwald got basically crippled. And she was also in the, like, quest picture, essentially, so I had a feeling she was going to be involved at some point.
Come on, don't be like that. This is what you agreed to. Besides, you never know when you might have need of a healer, and there's none better than Shauna. He's right. You've earned a measure of trust, and this shouldn't be taken to mean otherwise.
Thick as thieves are we now? Then there's no need for this sodding collar, Humph. We all know it's not coming off anytime soon. But if this is how it's to be, then fine, so long as she keeps out of my way.
I want the two of you to visit the Silver Griffin's headquarters in Alaganha. Several relatives of the Cranialupi have agreed to meet with them, and we could do with a measure of precaution.
If anyone so much as mentions the skulls, I'll deal with it. Understood? Let's get this over with.
She's as much at risk of turning as anyone, maybe even more so. You don't need the echo to see the weight she's carrying. She's still not got a handle on her own echo, either. Sometimes the visions come without warning and with such force that it's all she can do to stay standing. There's no telling what might happen when she comes face to face with the family of her former comrades, so look out for her. Please. I wish there was more I could do for her myself. But we've all got our own duties, and I'll see them through to the end.
Okay. Doesn't want to do it again. So must we all. Follow Fortola's lead, we're counting on you both. But be ready to step in, even if she curses you for it. Okay. I will say one thing that I actually don't mind about this quest so far compared to some of the others is that both places that we're teleporting to are outdoor areas, meaning that I can mount up and move around faster than when it was like for tanks and melee DPS. So that's kind of nice. It is still annoying that you need to go like back to like the main base of sorts, but the fact that it is outdoors does help a little bit with my annoyance, because I don't have to go to Limsa, for example, and then go to a different place in order to then talk to a person in order to then go back to where I just was, and also don't have to deal with having to constantly go from fucking airport up here and then back and then there and then back like Limsa constantly, because that was annoying as hell. But see how annoying this one gets.
I had a feeling Rahuban would send you, Shauna, but as for her...
If you've got any complaints, take it up with the commander.
No, it's fine. Truth be told, ever since that day at the Royal Palace, I've been thinking.
Stop. You don't want to say it, and I don't want to hear it.
To the matter at hand, then. We Silver Griffins have been working to support the relatives of the Cranialupi, but one family has gone missing. A mother and her parents, who lived together under the same roof. One of ours paid them a visit, but they were nowhere to be seen, and when they went inside to check, they found the house had been torn to shreds. Thick gouges in the floor and the walls, made by a beast's claws, by the look of them.
You think they've turned?
That's the most likely explanation. Please, do what you must before anyone else is hurt.
There's no time to waste.
I can't talk
I'll
right
head
now.
west.
I'm
You east.
making piss.
Okay, it's time for a redeem or for hydrate. Gonna have to go and grab some water because I don't have any water in here with me. Did have tea with me earlier, Fabo. You don't need to start being like, oh, you don't have water and so on. I had tea earlier. I had tea. Ended up drinking all of it because it was starting to get a little bit cold. But yeah, I'll go and quickly grab some water then. Because I just didn't want to like leave some water here. Don't miss this well, because you always complain that I don't have water, but I've even sometimes brought water in, didn't drink any of it, and then at the end of like a 4-hour stream, I have like a cup of like room temperature water that doesn't taste that great. And I don't want to deal with that. That's basically just why I don't bring in a cup of water at the start of a stream always. At least not if I have tea. But yeah, I'll go and grab some water then. So yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. You want a mini fridge for water bottles? Honestly, that would actually be kind of nice. So that the only problem is just that I don't have space for it. Like near my PC or anything, so or rather near my desk, so can't really like have a mini fridge in my rooms. But if I had more space, could potentially go for that. But currently, that's not really a possibility. But I got myself some water. Still doesn't change anything. Still mad. I know you are, but as I said, I had a cup of tea earlier, but I ended up drinking it because it gets cold otherwise. I can't have the tea sitting here in my room for like an hour and 40 minutes. It's gonna get like cold. Okay, let's see here. We need to go and survey a designated location and defeat any enemies that appear, which there is probably gonna be some enemies. Or maybe not. Oh, there actually is one. Didn't expect that to actually be an enemy, considering that it wasn't a like purple marker. Crumpled letter.
In the dirt you spy an envelope containing a crumpled, tear-stained letter.
Sure, read the letter.
Dear Mother, I hope this letter finds you well. Time is short, so I must keep this brief. Although I have never done anything to make you proud, I promise you things will be different when the war is over. Until then, take care and know that I love you with all my heart. Placing the letter back into its envelope, you turn your attention to finding the others.
Okay. Down in this direction. Are we gonna find another blasphemy? Well, beast technically, yes. Or are we gonna find Fordola? I'm thinking that we might end up finding Fordola at the last one. Yep, got the lightning sprite. Time 1 wedding ring.
You discover what appears to be a wedding ring, with a name and date engraved on the inside. With seemingly no more clues to be found, you decide to report to Ragenfrid.
Okay, so did we find the mother and father, perhaps?
What's done is done.
Were you able to find anything?
Though its contents neither verify nor disprove your suspicion, this letter was almost certainly penned by a now deceased member of the Perennial Lupa, or Lupi. The outer edge is covered in myriad scuffs and scratches, while the inner is marked with only a name, date, carefully engraved.
Then it is as we feared.
I found and killed a third. It was carrying this.
A matching ring. I'll deliver these effects to their next of kin and arrange for a funeral, or as close to one as possible under the circumstances.
Okay, so I guess then we killed the kid and one of the parents, I guess.
There's no changing the past. We'll always carry it, and the scars. But no matter who we were or what we did, we're Olymigans. Then and now. The Empire was our enemy then, and now it's despair. Good words and deeds will serve us best in this fight, weapons even an old man like me can yet wield. Thanks to the two of you, the missing villagers may finally be laid to rest. I and the other Silver Griffins will redouble our efforts to prevent any further tragedies.
It seems like it's a special cutscene.
I've finished checking the wares, sir. Everything's in order. Good work. Take a rest, lad. You've more than earned it. Keep this to yourselves, but Evrat's younger brother was a member of the Cranialooping. He's exactly the sort of person we're trying to help. Like many of the others, he was reluctant to talk to us at first. But after we'd gained his trust, we were able to help him find work. He's taken to it well. It's her. The butcher. Traitors,
Oh, no.
all of us. Kinslayers deserving of hate and death. Hate and death.
Get back. Get back. Stay away from her.
Dola saved your girl's life.
I know, but she's...
It happened in an instant. That poor lad. But it had to be done, and without hesitation. Would have been much worse otherwise.
Why does it keep fucking up? When you go out for Dola and see to her wounds, I'll do what I can here. Okay, go and speak with Fordola. There you are.
I'm fine. Leave me be. I said I don't need your help.
Halo, let me do my job. It's not only your injuries I'm worried about. Let's go with
Bloody
that.
hells. If you're here to patch me up, get on with it. Quietly. A coral can't change its spots. And there's no washing the blood off my hands. Nor would I, even if I could. Taking up Garlean steel was the first choice, but not the last. Like the first kill, the hardest. Every choice after that came easier and easier, until I stopped counting. Stopped caring. You tell yourself it's right. It's for the greater good. You give the order, feel the ground tremble as the cannon fires, and when the dust settles, and your own men are buried beneath the rubble, and you tell yourself.
Oh.
Me too. Aik.
Mustn't give in. I won't let it take you.
Ha. That man in the village. I saw his past. I'm the one who killed his brother. I'll be all right. I just need a moment. Can you wait with me?
She actually wanted our help there.
Everything the skulls fought for, the sacrifices we made, the things we did. In the end, it was all for nothing. Sometimes I look back on the road I walked, and the bitterness I can still taste, and I wonder. If I'd grown up in another time, another place, would I have done the same to a different people? Was it always in me, to be me? All I know is, everyone would have been better off if I'd never been born. But I was. And I dragged others into a hell of my own making. I remember these two brothers in particular, childhood friends of mine. The older one enlisted with me, but the younger. He would never have made it as a soldier. He was too kind. Too good. Onshford died at Specula Imperatoris, but his brother's still out there somewhere, not that I've got the courage to face him after what I did. I hope he's found the life he deserves.
Let's see. I met her former skull called Rudolph. I know a young man who survived the fall of the Specula. I'll just say this one.
Rudolph? He's alive? But how? I'm glad he made it out, but too many others didn't. Too many others still need our help. I helped make this blasphemy, and by Ralgr, I'll kill the bastard if it's the last thing I do.
I do remember something about one of those guys, but I don't remember where we found him. Just quickly try and search for that. Rudolph 14. Where was he? 32. Okay, that was part of the custom deliveries. He was involved with the Imnago. That's a while ago. Huh. Oh.
Anyway, that's enough out of me. I'll be heading back to the city to make my report. I suggest you do likewise.
Let's meet with Raban. Okay, we go back. Dora's only given her account, and I'd like to hear yours too.
So she almost turned into a beast herself. We'll have to take that into consideration before sending her into the field again. As far as the events in Alaganha are concerned, the two of you did well. Despite the appearance of several beasts, you were able to prevent any further casualties. However, this serves to confirm that those with connections to the Cranialupi should be considered at risk of turning. Over the years, many of them have drifted away from the larger settlements and have taken to living in secret. Others made their way to Ul'dah as refugees, including some individuals of interest. As such, we'll be working closely with the Immortal Flames to locate and offer support to those refugees in particular. In fact, I plan to make the journey there for an audience with the Sultana. Once my preparations are complete, perhaps you might accompany me? I'm sure she'll be glad to see you.
That's... It sounds like it's been years? Hold on. I gotta check something. What is the timeline exactly here? Like, how long has it been? Does that sound like it's been like years? Since the end of Stormblood, or the end of the original part of Stormblood, basically, the main part of it. It seems like... Apparently we're still technically in the first year of the game, so... Essentially the 5th year of the 7th Umbral era, or the first year of the 7th Astral era. So everything in A Realm Reborn all the way up to Endwalker has basically been 1 year, I guess. Or having it within the same year, so... Like, timeline-wise, it's just weird why... Raban said that... Like, I'm pretty sure he said something about, like, it's been years or something like that. Oh well, a new battleground. The quest to protect vulnerable Alamegans leads to Ul'dah.
Here to see Commander Alden, I take it. This way, please.
Our request for an audience with the Sultana has been accepted. Before we depart, I'll share what we've learned since last we spoke.
Our request for an audience with the Sultana has been accepted. No shit. Like, it's Nanamo. She is essentially your best friend. You were her right-hand man. Like, for years. You've essentially been her bodyguard. Like, no shit are you gonna get an audience. Who is this? This is Rauban. During A Realm Born and Heavensward and I think most of Stormblood, Rauban was basically the commander of essentially the city of Ul'dah's army, in a sense. I don't necessarily know if it was directly the army, but he was at least the commander of something called what's it called again? The Immortal Flames, something like that. You're pulling me like right, basically. Kind of, but still, it could be that you were actually asking who it is, because I don't remember how much of the story you've actually seen. Yeah, he's basically on really good terms with the leader of Ul'dah. That much I can say, at least.
The blasphemy continues to elude us, all the while driving others to succumb to despair and turn. Even with Alamegan and Ul'dah and forces searching for signs of the beast and more potential victims, we've yet to discern a pattern in the chaos. Nevertheless, if our blasphemy is like others, its behavior is likely dictated by the passions and regrets of the man it once was. Therefore, any information concerning him and the life he led may help us to track it down before it strikes again. We don't want people to shun the families of the skulls any more than they already are, but the fact remains that the vast majority of the beasts have been born from them. They're the ones at greatest risk of turning, without question.
I think I know who the blasphemy might be. Fordola just mentioned before there being someone, like two brothers that she knew, where one of them went with her and died in the tower that collapsed, and then there was the younger brother who she doesn't know the location of. The younger brother is almost certainly the blasphemy. I'm betting on that right now. Fordola concerns me too. She came close to transforming once before, so I think it might be best if we keep her out of this after all. Seems like a waste of a capable soldier. She deserves a chance to make amends.
I'm inclined to agree with Shauna. She was able to resist the transformation and has shown no signs of succumbing since then. If she wants to do her part, I say we let her. If only I could go in her stead.
It's a concern for her well-being, I think.
Actually, I was hoping you'd come with us to meet the Sultana. I believe she would benefit greatly from your understanding of the struggles our people face. You'd gain from the experience, too. While she's not the sort to brandish a sword and charge into battle, you'll soon discover she's a champion of her own arena, as brave as any warrior. I doubt she'd have much to learn from the likes of me, but it would be an honor to make her acquaintance. Ehrenwald and I will go on ahead and wait for you in the hustings strip. We'll see you anon.
Okay, off to Ul'dah then. Okay, so I need to go up there on the Royal Promenade. Okay, the Chamber of Rule. And a should be right over there. And I think I saw Papa-chan. Yep.
It's the first time I've been back here since I discharged myself from the infirmary, without telling anybody, mind. I must remember to stop by and offer my thanks, and an apology. I only let her out of my sight for a moment.
None of us left, I'm guessing.
Master Papa-chan was just telling us that Nanamo, or should I say Lady Lilira, has gone on another of her jaunts about the city.
Of course.
Though it is not my place to question her grace's judgment, I do wish she had consulted me before running off on her own. And perhaps I'm overthinking it, but it's unlike her to keep guests waiting. If I may say so, sir, with blasphemies appearing throughout the land, it's a dangerous time to be going for a stroll. I suspect that may be the very reason. She wishes to see for herself how the citizenry fare in these trying times. Even so, it's downright reckless. We'll find her, though. No, I couldn't possibly allow such esteemed guests to. Come now. We might be here on official business, but we're old friends. And as you may remember, I've a knack for tracking down errant sultanas. Some might say that knack is a rather charitable, ahem. I should be glad of the assistance. I'll take a look around here. Quizzing the locals will give me an opportunity to learn of recent goings-on in Ul'dah, too. Well then, there's no time like the present. Fear not, with me on the case, this'll be over before you know it.
Okay, speak with Raban at the Sapphire Avenue. Okay. And there's Raban.
It's been some time since I last combed these streets for young Lilira. As a matter of fact, Papa-chan and I would compete to see which of us could find her first. As I recall, most of the contests ended in my favor.
Maybe the fucking game.
The trick, you see, is to look past the disguise and pay attention to the gestures and mannerisms, the tiniest movement that might give her away. Come, I'll show you how it's done. Follow Raban's lead and try not to fall behind.
Okay. Said follow my lead. Just want to perusing the stalls here. But annoying, it doesn't end up down in the chat. If she is not here, where could she be? She's been abducted. One of these spots? Perhaps not. I've never known her to be this, or something like that.
That's odd. I've tried all her usual haunts, so unless she's hiding inside a barrel or something equally nonsensical, she must be elsewhere. Gods, why did she choose now of all times to run off? What if she's been abducted, or run afoul of a beast?
There's no need to assume the worst. We should keep looking. Perhaps we could try asking around. Let's go. That's a 1.
You're right, I know, but it's hard not to worry. Where could she be? Come to think of it, something Papa-chan said caught my ear. He thought Nanamo went on this excursion because of the emergence of the blasphemy and the beasts. To better understand how her people are coping with the situation. If so, she'd be driven to seek out the most desperate and destitute. Pearl Lane, then.
So, right up there.
Might I ask you to lead the way? I'll admit, my ability to track missing persons may have dulled somewhat. Pearl Lane has ever been plagued by pickpockets and the like. I'll watch your back, so go ahead and give the search for Lilira your full attention. Rahuban is now, you can...
Eh. Okay, so we need to go over there. Kind of wondering how they're dealing with Rahuban. Like, have they given him a unique model, or it might be a unique model that he just has? Or the armor piece that they have given him just hides his like left arm, because he doesn't have that one after all.
While it may not be immediately obvious, conditions here have improved considerably of late. Her Grace continues to support the rebuilding efforts in Girabanya, which has led to the creation of jobs for many of the locals, both here and on the other side of Baelsar's wall. In every society, there are the haves and the have-nots, and seldom is this divide more sorely felt than here in Ul'dah. Many of the young and able-bodied work for Loporrits as guards, though he earns more in an afternoon than most will in a lifetime.
And there she is.
Nana, ahem. Lady Lilira.
Rahuban? Whatever are you doing here?
Does she not know that she had like an audience with us?
And Shauna, too. While I am glad to see you both, our meeting is not yet due to commence for several bells. What is the meaning of this?
Oh, it's only supposed to happen later.
We were worried, and with good reason. These are far too dangerous times to be roaming about alone, Your Grace.
Ha ha ha. Some things never change. But I assure you, I am quite capable of looking after myself, in my own city of all places. More importantly, I wish to observe firsthand how the people have been faring of late, that I might be better prepared to participate in our discussion later. But I have finished, you will be comforted to hear.
Then pray allow us to escort you to more amenable surroundings. Would you care to ride on my shoulder?
Certainly not. You have already attracted more than enough attention.
Oh, he's missing the good old times. Okay, back up to the top. I'm assuming... Yep.
I had every faith you and the commander would find her. I've a feeling the search would have taken rather longer if Rahuban had been left to his own devices.
I thank you all for making the journey here during these difficult times. And it is my pleasure to properly make your acquaintance. On behalf of the people of Eorzea, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude for your continued dedication to our cause.
With respect, Your Grace, I'm just a soldier. Was a soldier.
Still, I say. Commander Alden would not make such a distinction, and neither will I. You yet serve your people, and have provided solace to many of Ala Mhigo's most vulnerable. If we are to deal with this threat, we must forearm ourselves with knowledge. I understand you come bearing information regarding the blasphemy and its victims.
We have indeed.
Hence the need to locate families of Crania Lupi members who have fled to Then Alan. There is no end to the struggles faced by Ala Mhigan refugees, and those who once pledged allegiance to the Empire are no exception. But rest assured that irrespective of their pasts, all will be treated with an even hand. All will be afforded such aid as I am able to provide.
Magnanimous as always, Your Grace. If I might be so bold, I've a question. What do you have in mind for those most at risk of undergoing the change?
I believe there is but one recourse. Earnest and open dialogue. While some are born into unimaginable wealth, others suffer great hardship and oppression. The circumstances of our birth are beyond our control, our fates subject to the whims of the gods, some would argue. I once thought myself a prisoner to my fate. A figurehead, helpless to watch on as my people starved. A powerless puppet. I wanted nothing more than to cast it all aside, to free us all, but failed for my naivety. And then was afforded a second chance for my privilege. The world is unfair. Terribly so. But we have the power to push back against inequalities and injustices, if not overcome them on blessed occasions. To love our neighbor and share in life's bounties. To open our hearts and come together as one.
Truer words were never spoken.
But without the support of the people, such words are naught but vain platitudes. Thankfully, my recent attempts to make inroads with the monetarists have met with some success. Despite differing views on many subjects, we yet strive to find common ground.
Common ground. We've been pouring all of our efforts into aiding families of the Crania Lupi, and while it seemed to help to a degree, some have still succumbed and turned. Of course, they're not the only ones in danger. Ala Mhigans everywhere, whether they sided with the Empire, fought for the resistance, or were caught in the middle, they all suffered. They all wake up in the night at times, haunted by memories of death and despair. We know what can happen if those feelings are left to fester.
The legacy of the imperial occupation will not soon be forgotten. But rather than seek to forget, mayhap it is necessary to remember. To acknowledge and accept the truth of it, that they may properly mourn those they have lost.
A remembrance. I propose we hold a memorial ceremony for those who died during the war. Everyone, no matter who they were or what they did. Let them be loved, let them be hated, but above all, let them be remembered, and in the remembering of the dead, in their honor and their sin, we the living of Allah Mhigo may yet find a sliver of common ground. It's a noble sentiment, but bringing together people who have reason to distrust one another and risk inflaming tensions could be a recipe for disaster. Then again, we can't keep ignoring the merit in the room and do nothing to address the situation. As long as we leave it to the individuals to decide whether or not to attend the ceremony, I think it's worth a try. Organizing an event of this scale will require a great deal of effort, so I offer my full support. Once you know what's needed, come to me, and we'll put the plan into action. Obviously, some will balk at the idea, which is perfectly understandable, so I'll be listening to their opinions as well. After all, we want it to be a ceremony that brings Ala Mhigans together. And I was wondering, Your Grace, if I might ask about your approach to, well, talking to people. Winning them over. As you can tell, I'm no politician, so I'd be grateful for any advice you can share with me.
Why, I would be delighted to. As a matter of fact, I have a number of matters I wish to discuss with you.
And on that note, I suggest you and I return to Alamigo. To see the Sultana grow to become such a capable and compassionate leader, it brings a tear to my eye. Hat. Wonder what Ayaba and Ollie would say if I could tell them I had a chat with the Sultana? I can hardly believe it myself.
Okay, I gotta check who are those two, because I don't remember them. So, Ayaba... Okay, it might be a Abatia? Okay. He was a Seeker of the Sun, who basically was a scion who died during the attack on the Waking Sands, while he was basically defending Arnwald. And that Yuli, probably the same. Let's see. Yeah, she was also part of the Science and died at the same time. Okay. Just couldn't remember them. To be fair, it has also been a long ass time since I last did any of that stuff. So it's kind of to be expected to not remember them, especially because I don't think there was a lot of... they weren't really in the spotlight in any sort of way.
The relationship between Ul'dah and Alamigo is one which I cherish deeply. It is imperative that we coordinate our efforts in facing this crisis.
I just thought of something. I haven't actually checked this, but what happens if I go back to the Waking Sands? I know I can go in there, because I believe that you would basically be able to get some quests in there. Like, after everyone moved to up to Mordona. And I know that Riange was in there. Am I gonna be able to find him in there, perhaps? Like an older version of him? His Remelborn version, or is he? Has he been replaced by any chance? Because I have not been back here in a long time. Like, yeah, there's still people in here. Oh, looks like he's gone, because he would have been over here. Now that I think about it, I believe that some of his quests were also made required. So maybe they just made it so that he would just disappear once you got far enough in the MSQ, perhaps? Or maybe they moved the quests. I don't know. Over and speak with Raubon in the next quest. This was the 87s, that means...
I knew Ehrenwald would make a good impression, but he's outdone himself.
We still have 3 quests left.
Not only has he found a new avenue in life to explore, he's taken to it with considerable aplomb. And while his proposed memorial ceremony is bound to have its detractors, I have faith that many will come around. Not all, but enough, I pray. For our part, we must stand at the ready for whatever may occur. I shall send word if there are any developments.
Okay, we're probably also gonna find out who the blasphemy is here, either in this quest or the next one. Yeah. Laying the past to rest. Arnwald wishes to put your considerable reputation to good use.
There you are, Shauna. Commander Alden has asked me to convey to you the following information. At present, we are looking into reports of missing relatives of the Crania Lupi. With the cooperation of the Silver Griffins, we're currently searching for any clues as to their whereabouts. Thanks to the concerted efforts of Regenfrid and the others, the general public has been willing to cooperate with our investigation. Though many still harbor feelings of distrust for the collaborators and their kin, they've grown more receptive to our cause on the whole. Ehrenwald's been making steady progress in preparing for the memorial ceremony. He plans to host a meeting between the various community leaders to go over the finer details. In fact, he was wondering whether you could assist in delivering the invitations. If you can spare the time, you should be able to find him in the Mercantile District. Anyway, that's all for now. I've a few other matters to attend to, so if you'll excuse me, duty calls.
Okay, let's speak with Arnwald. Who is over by the Aetherite.
Thanks for coming. It should come as no surprise that planning a memorial ceremony for a whole bloody nation would keep a man busy, but by Ralgr, this is something else. The hardest part's been gathering information on those who died in the war, especially when it comes to the skulls and other conscripts. And they're the ones we need to treat most carefully. If we don't acknowledge the crimes of our kin in all their painful truth, then we do a disservice to their victims living and dead. But if we let people paint them as monsters who did monstrous things, things we believe we would never do, then we perpetuate a different but no less dangerous lie. As for preparing the event itself, I'll be holding a meeting with members from each of the settlements around Girabanya. I've sent invitations to most of them already, but I was hoping you'd help me with the last two. There's Emraznan in the Peering Stones and Sarisha in Viranalya. I'll give you one for each. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they refused, considering how their people suffered at the hands of the skulls. But I hope we can remind them that deep down, we're all just people trying to survive, to protect our loved ones. We may have driven the Empire from our lands, but as long as we hold fast to the grudges born of their attempts to divide and set us against one another, we'll never be free of their legacy of cruelty. With that in mind, I've included an account of my experiences with the Silver Griffins and the people I've met. Victims, collaborators, their friends, and their family, men and women who lived through it all. Survivors. Even if they refuse to join the ceremony, at least they will know, and hopefully understand, our reasons for holding the event. Granted, I've not had much practice in writing important letters, but I think they'll get the message. You being the one to deliver them will make a world of difference, I'm sure. Take care, won't you?
Okay. So there, and yeah, it's those two. See in that group there, the M tribe, and also the I'm forgetting what that group is called now. The Anenza. That's the ones.
Greetings, friend. It has been too long since last we spoke. What brings you to my village?
The weight of the words within is almost tangible in addition to the weight of the paper itself.
So the rumors are true. I need not read this letter in full to know its contents. I understand that Regenfrid's volunteers are working to support the families of those lost in the war, which few will deny is a worthy cause. But to include the relatives of the Cranialupi? The skulls watched the Empire slay us in our thousands, and still they turned their cloaks and fought for our oppressors. And you would ask us to mourn the deaths of these curs alongside their victims?
I ask only that you read the rest of the letter. You have every right to be angry and to refuse. Arnvald wishes only that you read his account before coming to a decision.
To dismiss it out of hand would be discourteous. Very well. Family. As none, my tribe is my family, and I know all too well the responsibility that brings. I would do anything to protect them. Anything. Loyalty, pride, conscience. My very soul. All are meaningless if I cannot ensure the safety of those I love. I suspected some skulls had been faced with the self-same choice, but to see how their kin suffered, I cannot say I do not understand. Though I wish that I did not. Their crimes will never be forgiven. They cannot be. But I, and any others who are willing, can offer our prayers for these tortured souls and the men they could have been. I accept the invitation. Not on behalf of the M tribe, but as M Raznan, though I will put the question to my people that they may decide for themselves. I am also eager to make the acquaintance of the person who wrote this letter. He is not one to turn a blind eye to the bitter truth, painful though it is to confront. The meeting will be the perfect opportunity to take his measure.
Well, he's not that tall anymore, but that's because he can't really stand on his own legs, but still. Okay. Sarisa. What do I need to go to next? Oh, should be right down there, I believe.
Welcome. To what do we owe the pleasure of your visit? Then it is as I suspected. There have been rumors that such a ceremony would take place. Although you have traveled far to make this invitation, I must decline. We cannot mourn the loss of the fallen if the Cranialupi are to be counted among them. Like the Kaliana, they chose to aid the Garlean oppressors, killing and bleeding for those who would pillage our lands. Cowards and traitors all. And are we to assume that Kaliana who died fighting for the Empire will be honored as well? If so, that is all the more reason for us to refuse.
That is your right, and no one will say otherwise. I've come only to present a letter and ask that you read it in full. Arnvald understands and accepts that you might refuse. His only request was that you read his account and then decide. Let's go for that one. To make sure that we credit Arnvald.
If you insist. No one was spared suffering in the occupation. Not the resistance, not the collaborators, not the families of both, no one. That so many would die in shame and ignominy, having sold their souls only to lose everything, is a tragedy. And a lesson. If they are forgotten, then the lesson of their folly is forgotten. For the sake of this land we call home, I will join you in remembrance, and implore my people to do the same. In mourning may we strengthen our ties with our neighbors as well. By together facing our past we can build a foundation for lasting peace and prosperity. It would be my honor to attend the proposed meeting, and I look forward to personally thanking your friend Arnvald for his dedication. I and my peers have much to learn from the example he has set.
Okay, back to Arnold. Gotta say, so far of these like role quests, I would have to say that this one so far is the one that I actually prefer the most. And then it's the melee and then the tank one, because honestly currently the tank one's kind of just like because there aren't a whole lot of people in that one. That's like, there's not a whole lot of characters from that quest where it's like you care too much about them, because true, there is Kanisena, but it's kind of like she's probably the leader of the 3 city-states that people care the least about, to be completely honest. Like, most of the characters that we interact with during that is kind of like
So, how did you fare in the fringes? They said that about me? It's rare for me to get such glowing praise, especially from renowned leaders like Sarisha and Amraznan. More importantly, though, they agreed to attend the meeting, and I've got you to thank for that. After all, I imagine it's hard to turn down an invitation when it's hand-delivered by the Warrior of Light herself. Before I get ahead of myself, though, I must remember that this is only the beginning. Bringing everyone together is one thing. Coming to an agreement on an extremely divisive issue is a different kettle of fish entirely, as Her Grace was quick to point out. But as she's taught me, if our cause is just and our hearts are true, those of like mind will surely answer the call. And answer it they have. While there are bound to be differences of opinion, I'm sure there's nothing we can't overcome if we put our minds to it.
Either the meeting is gonna happen now, and we get to see it, or we're just gonna get sent over to Raban, or the Blasphemy Hunter.
To that end, I was hoping you could join us, if you've the time to spare. There are still a few loose ends Regenfrid and I need to tie up beforehand, so we'll meet you in the palace as soon as we can. Just having you there will make a world of difference.
Okay, do get the... Let's see that. I'm basically thinking this. We're gonna have this meeting. We might learn the identity of the blasphemy there. Or that's gonna happen during the memorial, which is probably gonna happen in the next quest. Or the one after. I'm not really sure, because I feel like we're probably gonna have the memorial possibly in the next one.
Here for the meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we all agree upon the importance of the ceremony, we recognize that the inclusion of the Cranialupi will be distressing for many. I too lost family at their hands, and I would never ask others to forgive and forget. But for all their crimes, they were Alamigans, just like us. None made the decision to side with Garlemald lightly. They had a choice, and they chose to betray us.
Who among us have not made difficult choices for kith and kin? Do not forget that Fordola chose to stand between us and a primal.
What does that have to do with it?
Oh my god.
Brothers and sisters. Arguing will avail us naught. The fate of Alamigo rests on my shoulders and yours. On those of every man, woman, and child that calls these lands home.
I'm curious, where the fuck is Lise? She's also one of the leaders of this place. I guess technically the resistance,
to uphold
but
our
still.
honor. To strive for prosperity. To protect our loved ones. We all know the weight of these responsibilities. 'Twas that self-same weight which drove many of our people to serve our oppressors, misguided as it was. And though they chose a different, unconscionable path, in the end, we all wanted the same thing. To deliver our families from persecution, that they might live to see one more day. Because another day in shame and self-hatred was still better than none at all. The regretful dead are survived by their despair, a despair which threatens to drag us all into an abyss from where there is no escape. Know that it surely will if we welcome it into our hearts out of disdain for those we cannot forgive. But we Alomigans will not be so easily defeated. We will stand united and conquer this menace. Every Alomigan who fought and died did so in the hopes that one day, we would be free. And we are free. We are free. By the blood of our fallen brothers and sisters, we are free. Free to lock away the pain and pretend it has no power over us, until it festers and takes us in our beds. And free to lay it bare and let it breathe. To acknowledge and to mourn our people at their best, and their worst. The past is ours to bear, all of it. For ourselves, and for future generations, so that they needn't suffer like we did. Let us make Alomigo a nation where no man is left behind. Where he can make all the wrong choices, and still be afforded the chance to make a right one.
Okay, well, we ended the quest, I'm guessing. Yeah.
That went better than any of us could have hoped for. You have my gratitude for your part in the proceedings, but we both know who the real hero of the day was. This was all Ehrenwald's idea, and it was his words that finally won over the naysayers. Now that we have the community leaders on our side, we should have a much easier time convincing the rest of the citizenry. Of course, holding the ceremony is by no means our final objective. No matter what we say, some will refuse to attend. It is my hope, however, that it will still serve to provide a measure of closure for us all, and to ease the plight of the vulnerable and ostracized.
Speaking of which, you will recall the incident with Vordola in Alagana. The young girl she saved and her mother wished to thank her personally. Considering what happened last time, though, I have reservations.
It would be a valuable opportunity to present a former skull in a more positive light. On the other hand, I don't need to tell you how unpredictable she can be, and that's before taking her echo into consideration. But that's a conversation for another day. Go and get some rest. You've earned it.
Okay. Trials of Skulls. The blasphemy hunter may seem calm and collected from a distance, but you suspect something is amiss.
Something terrible has happened.
It's Vordola, she's escaped. Oh.
She was accompanying a squadron out on a training exercise. One moment she was there, and the next, she was gone. I didn't think much of it at the time, but she's been acting strangely ever since she went to meet that mother and child. You know, the ones who wanted to thank her for saving the girl's life.
When I told Commander Alden about it, he went charging off to Elagana to ask them if they have any idea where Vordola might be.
I thought about going after him, but when I heard you were headed this way, I reckoned it'd be better to send you in my stead. Godspeed, Shauna.
Okay. Off to Alagana, then. Okay, so I guess we're dealing with Vordola this quest, and then the next quest is gonna be the memorial, and probably also, and most likely also the fight with the blasphemy, because that's been the case so far at least. There they are.
Gods be good, what is she thinking?
Have we done something wrong? I know you. You're friends with the brave lady, aren't you?
I am, although she would probably not say that I am her friend. But I wish to be her friend. Or at least for her to not refuse me my help, at least.
Shauna. I wasn't expecting to see you here. You've heard what's happened, then.
Mrs. Fordola was beginning to earn our trust. She gives us the slip. As you may know, she wears a choker enhanced to prevent exactly that.
If I were to give the order, she would be dead within moments, and she knows that. She took the risk anyway, so I have to believe she has a good reason. That's what we're looking into now. We were hoping Clairol and young Lily here could shed some light on the matter.
I'd like to ask you about your conversation with Fordola, if we may.
Yes, of course. I know she's the butcher, or was, at least, but it didn't seem right to go without thanking her. That's why I requested the meeting. To express my gratitude, and my apologies. She was quiet at first. Just stood there as we spoke, as if she weren't even listening. And then I mentioned the blasphemy, and she looked at Lily, and all of a sudden clutched her own head and cried out in agony.
The echo. Can you remember what you were thinking about at the time?
Amen. The one I saw in the city.
We're gonna have the echo as well, and we're gonna see who it is.
What? Who? Did he have something to do with all those people panicking?
Or maybe no echo?
I think he did. When I was waiting for you, I saw him. He was by himself. He looked poorly, so I asked if he was all right, and he said yes. He had a nice smile. He got up and started walking. But then... he was shouting and screaming. I was so frightened, I didn't want to talk about it. Not even to Mum. I wish you'd said something sooner. I'm sorry, Poppet. This is my fault for leaving you on your own.
The man who turned into a blasphemy, I wager. Girl saw him, which means Fordola has now seen him too. There was one other thing when Fordola was having her funny turn. She said something. Charlie, no, Charlotte, I think. Yes, that was it.
Ring any bells? Can't say it does. But if he has anything to do with the skulls, the Silver Griffins should have some information on him. We'd best have a word with Ragenfrid, then.
I don't know what the hell is happening with this. Like, this is not supposed to be happening. You've both been very helpful. I'd also like to thank you for being so kind to Fordola. She may not have said it, but I'm sure it meant a lot to her.
I've a couple more things I'd like to ask, so I'll catch up with you later.
I think it's weird. It's not. I don't know. Fucking playing all the time. Ooh, someone has gotten dedicated to Moonlight is asking if anyone wants it in the FC. And it might be placed in the FC chest. That's not a bad song, because that's the song at the end of the current Alliance raid. You can't see the tooltip right now, but that's because the chat is being hidden, so that stuff isn't shown that I don't want to be shown, in case anything against TOS is shown. Like if anyone says something weird in the chat, which there's definitely been a few times in the FC chat. So yeah, I'm just trying to hide that. Anyway.
Charlotte, you say? Yes, that name came up during our recent investigations. As I recall, he served under the Viceroy during the occupation, and his whereabouts is currently unknown. Had an older brother, named Anchfrid, one of the Cranialupi.
It's what I thought. It's the younger brother that turned into the giant blasphemy. Which would give a connection to Fordola. Is there anyone who can tell us more about him?
Yes, an uncle, who we recently helped find employment here in Alaganha. He's actually the one who asked us to look for Charlotte. You'll most likely find him working at the Sleeping Stones. As it happens, I was planning to bring him something to eat. I'll join you there shortly.
Okay. So all the way up there. And kind of weird why text-to-speech is just fucking up today, because it usually doesn't do that. Like, it might have like 1 or 2 lines that it doesn't seem to play. But here it's like, it's a lot. It's not playing. Which it usually doesn't fuck up with. At least not to this extent.
Perhaps we should have asked what he looks like. Still looking at. That's him, over there. I hope we're not interrupting. No, no, of course not. It's good to see you, Ragenfrid. My word, the Bull of Alamigo and the champion of the Alliance. What brings such esteemed guests to our humble air, Corey? At ease, my good fellow. We merely wish to ask you about your nephew. Charlotte. You found him. No luck yet, then. Is there anything else you can tell us? More about his childhood, perhaps? Wasn't much of one, I'm afraid. Poor boy's life was ruined long before he had any say in the matter. His parents and I swore allegiance to Garlemald to secure ourselves and our kin's citizenship. For all the good it did us here, living amongst our countrymen who treated us as pariahs. Took its toll on him and his brother, to be spat on as traitors by association. One thing led to another, and Anchfrid, together with most of his friends, joined the Imperial Army. That's how it started, you know. The Cranialupi. Gaius's loyal little pups. Do you remember the names of these friends? Yes, they had quite the reputation growing up. There was Emmeline, Rudolph.
And the angry little girl who grew up to become the butcher herself, Fordola.
Charlotte was part of their group, too, yes. But from what we've heard, he chose not to become a soldier. Wouldn't have lasted a day in training. He knew that better than anyone, of course. Not that it helped him to feel any less guilty for turning his back on the others. He blamed himself for their deaths. For not stopping them when he had the chance. For not being strong enough to fight by their side. Maybe save them, maybe not, but he wasn't there, and he wished he had been. Then one day, he was gone. Wherever he is, I hope he's safe and well.
He is not, and we need to kill him in like one quest.
So do we. Thank you, the information you've shared should prove useful. And for you, I brought some food. Why don't you call it a day and go and enjoy it with your family? Let him have the peace for now. Back to Olaganha.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea not to cause him any unnecessary stress, considering that there is still the blasphemy around, and with its presence it can cause other people's concerns. It's probably a good idea that we deal with that before we tell him. So not only was his brother a member of the Skulls, but Charlotte himself was a childhood friend of Fordola's.
I'm told he refused the support of the Silver Griffins as well. He's been trying to make his own way for some time now.
His brother and his friends died at Specula Imperatoris, save for Fordola, and the gods only know how he felt about her after that. Gods. That didn't help. Or how Fordola felt about Charlotte after seeing Lily's memory of him transforming into a blasphemy. Rather of the man she killed and a childhood friend besides. She thinks she's responsible for this. That's why she ran, to kill the beast.
I never thought I'd say this, but I'm worried about her.
My fucking god. Play the audio, goddammit. Fordola is a survivor and an outcast herself, exactly the sort of person the Silver Griffins are trying to support.
You've seen for yourself the sacrifices she's willing to make. And if you can learn to feel sympathy for her, maybe others can, too. I think we have enough information for the time being. Let's return to the city and plan our next move.
Okay, give me a sec, I'll just over here and just need to quickly try and see if I can fix this shit, because this is annoying the hell out of me. Then it won't work correctly. Why does it keep fucking up? Like, seriously. Just quickly trying a few things to see if that hopefully fixes it. That might. I hope this has fixed it. I don't know if it has, but I can only hope. All I know is that it's just annoying to me that it like doesn't play like it's supposed to. Like 1 or 2 times when I'm using it, that's fine. When it does this much, it's like that just gets annoying, because it's supposed to help me not have to read it aloud on my own.
I've assigned a few of my soldiers to assist the Silver Griffins in investigating Charlotte's background. With luck, we will find him quickly. and then we can prepare for what must come after. We're all but certain Charlotte's the one who transformed into a blasphemy, and so there's naught to be done but put him out of his misery.
Oh my fucking god. As for Fordola, I've put Nago and her troops in charge of tracking her. Once they found her, they have my permission to lend whatever support they deem necessary.
If it comes to it, I may ask you to join the search. Until such time, I ask that you take this opportunity to rest.
Okay, time for the final quest. Gift of Mercy. The Blasphemy Hunter is even more flustered than usual, and with good reason.
Thank goodness you're here. Commander Alden needs to see you right away. Follow me.
Keep it contained until I arrive, but do not engage if you can help it. Understood.
They found the blasphemy.
That was Nago.
Your unit has found Fordola, or rather, she has found them. In fact, I have Fordola on the search party's link pearl. She wants a word with you. Please play the fucking audio. Please.
This is urgent, so be quiet and listen. The blasphemy, my friend, is right in front of us. I tracked him down, and when he spotted me, he started heading towards Specula Imperatrice. Look, Shauna, I need your help. Charlotte's not, he never wanted to hurt anyone. But this thing he's become is. I can't leave him like this. I've got to stop him, whatever it takes.
Away, wait till we get there. Do not engage. Is that clear? Do you like your voice more than those robo voices, but you understand you don't like to read out loud so much. Yeah, it's mainly just because I know what happens when I read out loud so much in this game, and that is that my voice starts hurting. Or rather, my throat starts hurting because, yeah, this game has a lot of dialogue, and when I tried basically reading it at the start of Around Reborn, I think I did it for like a few streams, and I could just feel that after every single stream my throat just hurt because of how much I'd basically been reading aloud. On my way. Let's go with that one.
I owe you. This is Nago, can you hear me? We've got the blasphemy, so. Ugh. It's on the move.
Get ahead of it, but maintain distance. We need to. Fordola, what are you doing? Fordola. Fordola.
There's no time to waste. They need our help.
Yes, for some reason the Texas talk thing is just broken right now. It doesn't want to fully work.
Radiata and Oligiri are not that far from Specula Imperatrice. If we let the blasphemy slip through our fingers, it doesn't bear thinking about.
My god. And while Fordola is determined to slay it by her own hands, we can't allow her recklessness to put the lives of others in jeopardy.
The time has come for action. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind reading things aloud, it's just Final Fantasy has way too much text to read aloud.
Hold the line, for as long as you can. Commander Alden and the Warrior of Light will be here any moment, stay strong.
Jesus.
You've done well. Leave the rest to us.
Yes, sir. Get the injured to safety.
Coward. Coward. Traitor, to them. To everyone.
Oh. Echo time. And we see the day when he No, that's not the day. That's the day when they decide to become soldiers that we've seen.
I wish there was another way.
I think we've seen this part before. Maybe not with him.
So do I, but fighting's the only thing I'm any good at. Makes me wonder how I ended up with such a clever brother. Too clever for my own good, maybe. Just the thought of going into battle, about getting hurt. About having to hurt other people. He's a bleeding heart, our Charlotte. Sooner befriend a fly than shoo it away, much less kill it. I see could kill if I wanted. I could.
But you don't, and there's no shame in that. Leave the soldiering to us, Charlotte. We'll show the Garleans what we're capable of. Get the power and respect we deserve. And then, things will change. They will. You'll see. We've found a place for ourselves, and you'll find yours soon enough. All right, that'll do. Everyone who's enlisting, meet back here tomorrow.
That's the part that we saw, I think back in Stormblood. Like the next day.
In the end, what good did I do? They gave everything they had to give, while I hid, like a rat waiting for the storm to pass. Coward. Coward. Coward.
This transformation, I'm
But
guessing.
why
Or not?
Coward. Coward. Better dead. Better forgotten.
It's not your fault, Charlotte. It's not. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm the coward. The traitor. The butcher. I'll always be.
Butcher? Don't you dare for Dola?
You don't get to end it. You don't get to give up. I won't let you. You have a lifetime to make amends and atone. To become something more than you were. But if you die here, you are everything they say. Everything you believe. Is that what you want?
She's not going anywhere.
Ehrenwald. Why are you here?
There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I can't fight by your side, but I can still cheer you on. I've seen your past, Charlotte. How you were left behind while your friends rushed into battle. It's bloody hard, isn't it? Wanting to do something so desperately, with every fiber of your being, knowing that you should be able to, you should, but you can't. So you find another way to support them. Your way. You did that too, didn't you? You were there for them, even if it didn't feel like it, but you were, Charlotte. You were. As a friend of mine once said, not all heroes are forged in the fires of battle. The history of Alamigo is writ in blood. While we cannot change the past, we can change the future. And for that, we must all play our part. All of us.
Let us grant Charlotte the peace he deserves. You too, Vardola.
Anshfrid, Emmeline, one day, we'll be together again. But not yet. You'd never hurt anyone, Charlotte. That's not who you are. You will be remembered as the kind soul you always were.
Blasphemy, Charlotte.
I'm counting on you.
Okay.
He's quicker than he looks.
I'll draw his attention. Shauna, keep me in the fight.
I can't die until I lay Charlotte to rest.
They'll win. I know they will.
Just a regen on Ralph, just to keep him going.
Lightning aspect ether? Keep away from it.
Also used arm's length.
What's that lightning doing to me? Cast Asuna, quickly.
Yeah, I know. You don't need to tell me. Wait, they're going from that one.
Right. T together. We must be together.
I think I... Oh. Was that done correctly?
Not on my watch. As long as I hold out, he won't lay a finger on you.
Show them what we're made of!
And I fucked up a little bit there.
This is our chance. Let's finish him off.
It's over, Charlotte. I'll end your suffering.
This is all wrong. All wrong.
Tizona!
Oh, he has a
Let me
special
handle
one of
this.
those.
What strength?
You've got to hold on.
Try me!
There we go. I see, got a little bit panicked there at the end, but I just started spamming like different off-global heals that I had. They started having kind of low health.
Thank you. I mean it.
High five. Do we get to see the memorial perhaps as well? Or what?
I've been looking everywhere for you. Have you now?
We put down the last remaining beasts spawned by the blasphemy. 'Tis a pity we could do naught for those who turned, but that we were able to prevent further casualties is nothing short of a miracle. It's astonishing, too, looking back at Charlotte's case. Although his existence spurred others to transform, he never attacked any settlements or travelers. Even when he underwent the change in the middle of a crowded street, those who were present escaped with minor injuries at worst. I think that deep down, his compassion is what kept the raging blasphemy at bay. The only time he emerged from hiding was to journey to the place where his brother died. It's clear he still retains some semblance of his former self. Another victim of the Empire's terrible legacy, along with his friends and so many others. But the Cranialoopy wasn't the creation of the Imperials alone. Many of those youths sought a place with them because they were denied one with us. That's why the memorial ceremony is so important. It's our chance to face our past together, to give them in death what we couldn't in life. To not deny anyone a place in memory, even if it hurts or makes us feel ashamed. You'll be attending, won't you?
I haven't been ordered to, so I suppose not.
In light of your loyal service to Alamigo, I intend to have the conditions by which you are bound eased. Providing I'm able to obtain approval, you will be granted a degree of freedom. At the very least, we should soon have no need for that choker. There'll be no objections from me. You've done well.
Humph.
If I didn't know better, I'd think you were smiling. Well, I for one couldn't be happier her efforts are being recognized. It gives me that much more motivation to continue my work with the Silver Griffins and bring the people of Alamigo closer together. Got to do my best to keep up with a certain little lordling. I think we've done enough for one day. Time we got some rest.
Okay, speak with Raubon, and I'm probably gonna get told to go back to Razadan.
Allow me, as both the guardian of Alamigo and as your sworn comrade, to express my thanks for coming to our aid in these desperate times. No matter what manner of disaster may befall us, your presence alone is enough to keep the flame of hope burning bright.
Even someone on the very precipice of despair, such for Dola, can find salvation in your guiding light. Laying it on a bit thick, aren't you? Heavens forbid people stop throwing themselves in harm's way at every opportunity. You're something of an immortal flame yourself. Let's go with this one.
And put you healers out of a job? Not a chance. Het. Though in all seriousness, we could all stand to take fewer risks. In any case, it's safe to say we've all benefited enormously from your sterling work here. We couldn't ask for a better healer, or a better friend. Our ambassador in Radz-Adhan will be relieved to learn of our successes here. If you happen to cross paths, give him my regards, would you?
Off to Radz-Adhan then. Okay. That's the end of the other role quest. That means that the only ones that I have left of the role quest are magic DPS and physical range DPS. So still 2 quest lines left. And I can only do one of them, but that's not happening today. Those do take like around 2.5 hours to do, and it's already been like 3.5. Almost.
Greetings. How goes it in Alamigo? Eliminating blasphemies, helping organize a memorial ceremony. They've certainly kept you busy.
A fine example of going above and beyond the call of duty. I'll be sure to send word of your exploits to Ulda. Wait till the Sultana hears about this.
Her Grace will not be the only one to welcome this news. On behalf of the Grand Company of Eorzea and our allies, allow me to express my most heartfelt gratitude. You can now dye the job-specific gear for level 9.
Yeah. More than guilt. It's been achieved. Nice. But yeah, I can't really do... I can switch this one down here. But yeah, I can't really do any of the physical ranged DPS ones yet, because yeah, I don't have access to it. I'll probably be doing that on Bard, since that's the highest level one I have. But doing the caster one, which I guess is in Ishgard, would be possible, but yeah, that's gonna happen a different day, because not happening right now. That much I know for a fact. Let's see, what can I do really quickly? Oh yeah, I can quickly head to the FC house, cause I think I might have mentioned it. Oh, I think I might have mentioned it on stream, maybe. But I've basically started working on the or sending out the submarines that we have in the FC house, since no one had basically sent them out for like almost 2 weeks, like a little while ago. So I basically just asked, can I send them out, and I basically just got an okay for doing that. So I've been taking care of them for the last like around like week and a half or so. And yep, this one is ready. And we didn't get any cocoa bullet. God damn it. And we need to repair that. Okay, I need to get some repair kits out. Let's repair that. Yeah, we're basically sending this one out to get, or to try to get specific items. The problem is just that the chance of getting those items are semi-rare. Also, let me just quickly pull up the chart thingy that I use to basically figure out where I need to send them. Basically, we're trying to get something called cocoa bolo lumber. The problem is just that they aren't exactly common to get. So let's see here, which ones were it? Send out submarines? Yeah. That is actually what I'm doing. So let's see here. Are they yellow? No, unfortunately not. Well, actually they kind of are, because that is the submarine that I'm about to send out. Let's see here. Which ones is it again? I need to send it out for this one. This one, let's see, I can't unlock any more of these currently, it seems, for some reason. Wait, hold on. Okay, I need to basically do Sea of Ash 3 again. That has a chance to basically unlock the one after Ascetic's Demise, I guess. Let's see here. So now for that, those two, then Sea of Ash 1, Sea of Ash 2, and then I guess Sea of Ash 3 in order to hopefully unlock the Central Charnel Trench. Because we might as well just unlock more of these. But yeah, the submarine stuff is basically just that I need cerulean tanks. Buy that from a guy that I can't quite see here. If I do this, I can maybe... This little fellow down here, I can basically buy these from for this currency that we basically get for just doing things in the FC. And based on the submarine stats, it can basically travel a certain distance. Each location I send it to costs a certain amount of cerulean tanks. And it also adds some time to basically travel and survey. So for example, in this case, sending it out to these 5 places takes 2 days, 4 hours, and 19 minutes. So I'll be back on the 21st. Yeah, it takes a while, but it has a chance to basically get a lot of items, but it does also take some time. You would rather see that ass? Oh my god. Yeah, then we just have this cutscene. I could basically skip it. Kind of reminds me of the mission board in WoW. Kind of. It's essentially just like this is only something that free companies can do if they have a house and have a workshop built, and it requires a lot of materials to basically do this stuff. You basically also have airships you can send out, but they aren't really worth using for a whole lot because you can't get a whole lot of things from that, or at least not as valuable items. But basically the items that you get back from there, you can use some of those things for upgrading or getting new things from the schematic board. Like, for example, currently the FC wants to get the submersible prototype 6 unlocked, which requires some balsa wood scraps. We have plenty of those. Synthetic fiber, I believe we also have a bunch of that. And then we need cocobolo lumber. That's the only thing we're missing. We need 18 of those. And at the same time, I also want us to get some of those, because specifically 8 of those. Additionally, because that would allow us to basically get the cafe prototype unlocked, which is basically the outside of. It would basically allow us to craft the, or allow me to craft the outside part of my house that I very much want to get, since I have all the materials for it. The problem is just we need to basically get the this one first, and for that we need cocobolo lumber. The problem is just we haven't gotten any yet. We do have the stats for it on what was this one called again? Nimilops submarines. Basically, it needs a certain amount of surveillance in order to get the items. The problem is just that it's only a chance of getting those, and we haven't been lucky currently, and due to the time it takes for it to go out on those trips, it's a little bit slow, but it is just that, like, hey, send it out for like 1 day or one go, and then it takes like 2 days, gets back, I grab the items, throw it out or repair it if I need to do that, send it out on another mission. Then basically, if we get any schematics from the schematic board unlocked, we can basically craft things over here. So things like a Silver class pressure hull, which requires all of these items here, and all of these, and all of these. It's a lot of items, and it can take a while to basically get. For example, when it comes to crafting that sort of stuff, also over in this one. These parts here, all 7 of these parts that are right here, I crafted like a few weeks ago, or a month ago or so, with another person from the FC. I had spent like a week or so basically just getting all the items, but they haven't been used yet. And that was basically just to upgrade the other, what do you call it? Submarines that aren't high enough level yet. What the hell is this thing actually? Ah. There are also certain things we get that are semi-weird. This does need to be high quality. Go. The only problem with these things is just that I can't put anything into these two, and there are some of these things that I have over here that would basically belong in these 2 spots. The problem is just I don't have the rank to basically add them in, and there's no way of basically making, like, for some weird ass reason, Square Enix decided to make it so that There's 3 ways you can basically have these tabs in an FC chest, and that is you can have full access, which this one is, which is basically you can put anything in you want, take anything out. There's no restriction. You can have it so that you don't have access at all, you can't see anything, you can't add anything, you can't pull anything out. And then you can just view it, but you can't add anything to it, you can't pull anything out of it. But you have no option to basically make it that you can see what's inside, you can add things to it, but you can't pull anything out. I really wish that they would have that, because that would mean that I could basically throw this shit that I have over here into this one and this one, so I don't have to carry it around, but I couldn't pull anything out from there, because that's supposed to be the more like valuable items that we don't want people to just grab. But I can't. And it annoys me a bit. Granted, the FC could potentially, if they felt like it, make another rank. I'm thinking like a QT submariner or something like that, that would basically just allow us to have access to these two, because we kind of need access to that. Yeah, we basically have one for a gardener, because that allows people to have more access to the garden than you otherwise would, or basically just have access to the garden, because they know how to basically deal with that stuff. But yeah, let's see here. Is there any of this? Let's see, old grown, pure titanium, and that's but yeah, I would also kind of like to have that one and that one stacked together, because that's less space in here. It would necessarily be taken up. Like there's, I think also, yep, these two are also the same thing. Just throw them together. They can stack. It just annoys me. Yeah, let's see here. So that's pure titanium ore. What is this even used for? Pure titanium plate. That's not even used for anything, as far as I can see, at least. Let's see, that's dark chest. Nope, that looks like it's more stuff that I just need to hold on to. Great. Basically, like, most of the things that I have over here, I'm just holding on to because I don't want to throw it into any of my retainers. I don't want to use it for anything, because it's technically not mine. It's stuff that should be going into the FC chest, but I can't put it in. And I just haven't gotten around to asking anyone to basically take it from me and put it in, because I just haven't been bothered to do that. Let's see, let me actually do this quickly. Which ones are these again? These are Ivy, okay. Turn those two off, confirm for the rest. Okay. Just quickly taking care of my retainer then. Okay, put in the there. Anything I can put into you two by any chance? Or the rest of them? Can't do that. That's also something I got from one of those things. Okay, I can desynthesize these. This one, yep, that also should give me some desynthesis skill. Yep. Alright. I think I quickly want to head back to my house, and then we can quickly check out that Occasion roll that I got from the Loporrits, because I kind of want to hear how that one sounds. And if it is actually the one that I think it is. Because I'm almost certain it's the song from the Loporrit area. But I could be wrong. Also, I wonder what song is actually playing right now. Okay, that one. Hearts aligned. Let's see, this one would probably be locales. Endwalker, perhaps? It is. Guess I can maybe add that to the playlist, because it's honestly just a good song, in my opinion. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that there was a long fall that I also got that's gonna be available like next week during the Moogle Tombstone event. This is the one. It basically is the one that's used in like one of the Final Fantasy memes. It's essentially just a remix of the song Escape and I think part of the Crystal Tower music to an extent. It's basically just seen as one of the better songs in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Also, I don't think about it. Can I test out? I probably can't test out them. Eight. I'm gonna have to basically look up how the Loporrit like Junkmonger, estate servant, mender, and what's that one called again? Material suppliers, like how they look. So I want to basically get more of them. Also, did I have more of those in here? Oh, but I can have up to 10 vendors apparently. I can definitely place more of these because I'm thinking like could have some. I could use those some of those NPCs out here in the kitchen. Place them around the place. We have a few more here. Some up above to basically populate the area a little bit, and then like one or two down here in the bar. That's at least the plan for now. But I haven't really done a whole lot in here. I think I might place a few things over here. But yeah, I think I bought this thing because I think it's normally only available from Eureka, but didn't feel like dealing with getting that. And I thought, hey, might as well place it over here, but I couldn't place it anywhere, so I found this shelf thing that had plants, so that actually worked out pretty well. So, oh, didn't want to. Did not intend to go through it. Okay. There we go. So, dose. Why did I write dosey? Nope, that. Wait, what? Can I not sleep on this one? Is this a bed that I can't sleep on? Seriously? You're normally supposed to be able to like sleep on beds. Does this one count as a bed? No, it does count as it is called a loft bed and it is considered a bed. Why can't I not sleep on it? That just annoys me. Just lower the music actually. Still need to get some walls here. I think I might also have decorated this a little bit more. Yeah, I think I got maybe the burrito or that tea set. Got this, I believe her name was Edda doll. I think you can get it from like House of the Dead, but I just bought it because it was like relatively cheap. I still need to get around to changing out those lights as well. Yeah, still need more stuff to do here. I also made those watermelon things down there because I apparently found out that I could just buy like the minion needed for that on the market board for like no cash at all, instead of having to grow it, which would take me like a week or something like that. And would basically force me to pay a lot of attention to the garden, which I kind of knew that I wasn't gonna do. Anyway, I think that's basically gonna be it for today's stream, because yeah, I don't really have a lot else to basically do, I guess, or that I can really do. Which class so I don't have that thing coloring. Already, damn, time goes fast. I mean, it's almost been like 4 hours. It's been like 3 hours and 47 minutes, according to OBS. So it's not like it's been a short stream or anything. Well, technically I'm cutting it a little bit short, but it's only by like 10-ish minutes. Which isn't really that much, but I just don't really have anything else I can do. Because, yeah, there's not a lot. At least that I can fill out 10 minutes-ish with. So I guess I'll mute some of that stuff and then we can switch scene. And I can try and see if I can find someone to possibly raid. So let's see here. Who is currently streaming? I guess I could also quickly look at over here. Okay, I have a few. Actually, I have several that I could go with hosting, but I think there's just one that I'm gonna go with specifically. Although they might end their stream soon, but I mean, if she ends up ending her stream soon, then that's just what'll end up happening. But I'm basically thinking that we will raid Cryomy, who is currently playing some Skylanders Trap Team. And I gotta say, I know about Skylanders, have never played it, but I don't know too much about it. And I can also see that she is playing it on, like, in Danish apparently? Apparently she's playing it. She's playing it on Danish for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. Jesus Christ, she's still going. She is going still. Since it was her birthday yesterday. I mean, she has only been streaming for around just over 3 hours currently, but I guess she might just have continued the game. I'm guessing, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm just thinking that we'll raid Krabby, and yeah. Let's see, next stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a stream tomorrow. I basically did write on my what's it called? My stream schedule that I might do a stream tomorrow. I guess I'll see how I feel like streaming tomorrow, but if I do, then it might be a somewhat early in the day stream. Might just, I don't know, try and do some, I don't know. So Jesus Christ, I just got like a spam on my phone regarding Discord, but I might do some Pals of the, or not Pals of the Dead, Deep Dungeons. Maybe. I'm not really sure yet, but we'll see. But the next planned stream at least is going to be on... the next planned stream is at least going to be on Friday. It's my current plan at least. But yeah. That's at least the plan for now, so yeah. I think we'll just go over and go ahead and raid Krabby, who apparently just died to a mimic chest that just started shooting her with a minigun or something. This game seems weird, but yeah, we're just gonna raid Krabby. So yeah, have fun over there, and yeah, till next time, everyone. I'll see ya.